Testing. Welcome in, everybody. It's Nick Bocklidge with WTF Show, winning the legs. Happy Sunday, GMs. Going to be doing probably some eliminators if we could fill them, maybe a BBM, and have an exciting guest on today's show. Gonna bring him to the stage. What is up, Hartman? How are you doing?
Hey, what the fuck's going on, man? Hey, doing pretty good. Now I'm on
W-
the huh?
WTFs, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, but thanks for having me on, bro. Should be pretty fun. Getting the Nick Bach experience, you know. Been long long time watcher for first time on stream with you. So you
Mhm.
know, should be pretty fun time.
No, I appreciate you coming on. Very excited. I like how you have the cutoff sleeve as well.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, match and win the flex. You know.
winning the flex, baby. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pull up the underdog right now, bro.
All right.
Man, before I saw the stream, same issue. With the location BS, right? I went
Yeah.
from A to Z to what I could do. Couldn't figure it out. So after this, I'm gonna dive right back in to fix it. So if you do want to draft, I will be entering the drafts on my phone. I will give a like 15-20 second warning. But we'll figure it out. So Harmon, how's your
Yeah.
Sunday? What's going on?
Uh, Going pretty good. Haven't done too much. Just I got a draft in quick this morning. You know,
Yeah,
classic degenerate shit. But not too much. Just kind of chilling, have some coffee, wake up, stuff like that. How about you?
same man. Hit the gym this morning. I have my
Yeah.
iced coffee right here, ready to go. And what have you been drafting lately? I know you did a stream yesterday for a few hours. I believe you were hitting the Eliminator. I think you did a pug, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yeah. So I started it. I maxed my pug, so I did my third one. Then I
Okay.
did a puppy super flex, and then two limbs. So I've been kind of mixing in everything. The one I'm doing the least is probably weekly winners. I actually
Mm,
like the sprint too, but those are just so hard to fill. Like I like that one, but it takes too long for a room to fill.
yeah. One thing is there's so many contests that I want to do, so it's hard to diversify them all. So I kind of have to choose.
Yeah.
Um, Weekly winners, I'm not a fan of. I'll just wait to the season to do, DFS and battle royales. So I probably won't do any of these this year. S-
Mm. Uh,
But this, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say with weekly winners, I'll do like maybe like 20, 25 just to get like, just for the weekly sweats kind of fun. But I'm not gonna come anywhere close to maxing that one, anything like that.
Yeah, I think contests that I'm probably maxing BBM and then the Eliminator, those two.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna max BBM. Eliminator, I want to get at least 100. I might max it. Kind of depends just how the summer goes, what they drop in between, all that kind of stuff. But
Exactly.
I want at least 100. It's like the odds in that one are so bad, but it seems like so much fun.
It's so fun, man. I mean, the odds are going to be bad for all these, but I do
Yeah.
enjoy these the most right now. As you can tell, I've done 41 eliminators already.
Yeah, that's crazy. How many BBMs are you at?
Here, let's go check it out actually.
All right, yeah, cool.
So I've done 41 eliminators and I've done 183 drafts. I've only done 14 BBMs. 14
Okay.
BBMs. I tried maxing the puppy, couldn't get there. Not a big slow draft fan either, so I was doing all fast. BBM only 14. What my approach is this year is I do kind of want to back weight BBMs where
Mhm.
I have like at least 100 for August, and then I'll pound them out. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see though, because I'm drafting all summer, man. So it's gonna be tough to kind of not do more than 50 in the next few months, but that is my goal.
My goal with BBM, I want to save like I'm at like just under 30 now, so I did a bunch like really early, like right when it came out or before schedule, and then I'm probably gonna try to save like 60 to 70 for August. That's kind of my goal, but I think saving 100 is a great idea. I think like just having all the info can be so nice in a tournament that's going all summer when you get in pods with people, like maybe they got a little better value, but they might have dead players that you didn't have.
Yeah.
That's a good strategy for sure, I think.
I think obviously you could build great teams in BBM right now, if you have an edge. But for me and how I process things, I tend to draft better the more information I have. And
Mhm.
because I am willing to bet big on my convictions. So if I have a like if we find out that, let's just say for example, Ollie Gordon was like the clear RB2 for the Dolphins, I'm gonna have a high percent of him, right? But right now is like I'll mix him in, but I don't want to have a heavy bag because he could legit be zero week one. So
See, I like with these early ones, like I am taking kind of some risks. Like I wouldn't be surprised if a good chunk of my very early BBMs are like dead by the time like even
yeah,
August is here. They don't look good. But I think that's just kind of how I like playing it with the real early ones, just because I think that's, like, the upside that you're getting by drafting early. You, like, take the big swings and hope it works out, right? Like, I have, like, a giant bag of, like, Baishal Tutin, for example. He might be the RB3 buried on the depth chart by August, but if he takes over, then getting him early, it might work out pretty good. So, like, guys like that, I'll take swings on early and kinda see how it goes.
no, that's a great point. Two wins a good one because I think, like you said, he could be the RB3, right? He could continue to
Mhm.
fall if we get bad news. But on the opposite side, I think Tune could rise up a lot. I think we could see him with a couple good reports get he could become like a top 90 pick, 80 pick by August or September.
Right, and I think the Jags especially, just like any of those guys, they could all whoever emerges near the end of camp will rise a lot. So, I think we just don't know who it is, but I think making a bet on whichever one you like the most right now can be a decent strategy in a BBM, like a longer term contest, because one of them will probably rise a good amount.
Yeah, and I forgot who said it. Someone's kind of brought up the Jacksonville Jaguars backfield of the Dolphins a couple years ago, right?
Mhm.
You have maybe Etienne's Moster, you have two in is HN, and then Tank Bisbee is Jeff Wilson. So I don't mind drafting all these guys. I do think that there's gonna be a lot of value from the backfield, and they all go pretty cheap, right? So I don't think it hurts you kind of diversifying. But Tune is my favorite. I'm a heavy Tune guy. We'll probably draft him in a draft. So if anyone's interested, we're gonna be doing a let's try a 30-second eliminator.
Alright.
Actually, I gotta go on my phone for this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the location thing's weird because I've never gotten the location error on computer, but yeah, I don't know, it must be some kinda Chrome setting or something like that.
Yeah, because I was like I said, I was so three more for a 20-second eliminator if anyone wants to get in. But I was like, man, I'm telling you, like I was going A, B, C, different things. I'm clearing things. I'm resetting my location. I'm just doing all of it, and I think what I'm gonna do after this, I'm gonna try on Microsoft Edge, see if it works with that. Because Chrome has just been a pain the last few days doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I haven't had too much problem with Chrome, but I do see, I think a lot of people do have issues with Chrome. I'm a little bit lucky with it, but yeah, like Chrome, like I've had issues too where it'll sometimes like freeze up or something. It can be
Yeah, for
pretty
sure.
annoying sometimes.
Watch, look, it's gonna be like a simple, easy fix that I totally overlooked. That's gonna be why I'm having this issue.
One thing, like I'm sure you already looked at it in your like search bar when you're on Underdog. Do you have the little location thing like this site can access your location turned on?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I figured. But
Yeah. I played with that a few times. I have that. Like I'm telling you, like I went through A through Z, but there's one thing, man. There's one thing that I'm obviously overlooking that I'll have to fix. What's up, chat? You know, if anyone's here, like the video, you know, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hey yo, what's up, Pizza J Ryan? We got TB Bucks in the house. Can't stick around, but dropping a like and we'll catch a stream soon, my dude. Yes, sir. We got the Fantasy Football Garage WTF in the chat. Appreciate you guys. All right, so we got a room filled, and we have the 12th pick.
okay.
How do you feel about the 12th pick in Eliminator? Do you think it's a little bit different compared to like BBMs and other contests?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm definitely playing the Eliminator a little bit different.
Yeah,
I'm kind of favoring the little bit more like heavy running back build, where maybe I'm more like a hero RB, zero RB type bro. But like I'll grab like three running backs in the first 5 rounds in Eliminator sometimes. Or like three in the first six, like most of the time. And like the elite QBs, I'm moving them up too. If any of them fall to the turn, I'm pretty happy to grab them. How about you? How do you feel about building the limbs?
so my favorite strategy is like going RB earlier, especially in
Mhm,
like, you know, I'm pretty heavy on like Barkley, Bijan, Gibbs, CMC. I just think because we see RBs, people reach on them a lot higher. Like we have Chuba going at ADP 43, and
mhm.
he goes in the 6th round sometimes, but he's up to the 4th round.
Yeah,
So, but when you look at like Barkley, Bijan, Gibbs, like they don't really change. Like they're still kind of similar valued, but all the later RBs are pushed up, and then the receivers are pushed down. So I think it's a little edge going RB early because you're still taking them where they would go in a BBM, but you're also able to get better value on the receivers later.
yeah, I 100% agree with that. Like, especially, well, like you said, like one of the best examples, Chuba, like, like you're not losing value when you take Genty, CMC, or like those top three, really, or even like the second round guys. They're moved up a couple picks, but not really much. But in
Yeah.
that like 4 or 5 range, especially, those guys are getting pulled like up a full round almost, and you're kind of losing value compared to any other format.
100%. Like Alvin Kamara is a great one too because he'll fall in the mid six sometimes, but he's be taken like at that 4 or 5 turn. And
Mhm.
I do like some of these receivers later too. Like for example, I don't know how you feel about Hunter, but like he'll fall to like the mid fifth. And at that point, I'm like, you know, an eliminator, you still want upside, you still want to try to catch a breakout. So
Mhm.
all
I
right. So
I'm a I'm a little bit lower on Hunter, but I'm okay with him, especially in this with him being a little bit more of a value. I worry more like less about his skills and more about like T Law supporting to like top end receivers. But with Cohen, T Law's shown flashes. I just worry a little if he can really take that step and support guys that high.
yeah, no, that's a good point. So we are on the clock. Are
Um,
you Derrick
so
Henry
big
or
dog. I think big dog, right?
I think Bay Dog too, and then I think Nico. What are you thinking?
Okay. Yeah, I'm cool with Henry Nico. The only other name I would float is Ham, but I like
ATM
getting
too.
Nico here.
You know what? I do like going double RB too, but I think the value of just having like still a elite receiver that could spike in your lineup every week is very important as well.
Mhm.
Especially if we get the big dog, because we're betting on him having a just doing what he did last year.
Well, and I think too with it just lets us be a little more flexible at that next turn where maybe if this room doesn't like snap up RBs in the third as much, we don't want to be sitting there double RB and then the best values are still RBs, right? So it works better grabbing like 1 and 1 because then we can be a little more flexible, especially on the turn.
Yeah, especially the turn two, where it's like I do like going RB earlier, but at the turn, I do think that we do see a value at the receivers position a little bit, and
Mhm.
you'll have RB fallers sometimes, right? So it's like
Right,
if we
right.
go Henry and Collins, like there's a chance Brees Hall falls to us.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And
Yeah,
then like we might even look at like elite QB because we might get like a Lamar or something, or even like maybe Jaden Daniels we might want to look at. Kind of depends who's there though. We'll kind of have to see. How
yeah.
do you feel about the elite QBs in this format?
So early on, I was drafting a lot of them because I do think they give you an advantage, but I also love having three quarterbacks in this contest, and I like targeting the quarterback room from like Mahomes all the way down to like May, Love, Shroud, T Law. And then I think also quarterbacks like Geno's very undervalued, Cam Ward. So I mix and match, man. If Elite Fall like kind of like goes like half a round discount, I'll take him. But usually I
Mhm.
do like to gobble up the RBs and receivers early on and then just kind of play three quarterbacks.
Okay, yeah. I think like I kind of flip flop between the two strategies because I do plan on doing a lot of these, so I like
Yeah.
getting the elite with the floor ceiling combo, but I definitely like if you can grab especially two in that kind of like that QB window, and then grab a third. Like I really love getting Geno. Like Geno's a really good one, or Ward, like you said. That also feels like a really good build to get.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. And like I'll tack on Daniel Jones real late as my third quarterback too. I think he's a free pick in the 18th round right now.
And he is
But
pretty likely to start week 1, and he can I mean, that's the thing with Indy, which everyone's playing, like, if you said either's playing 17 games and you're sure, they're an absolute smash, either one of them, right? Because they both have huge upside with the rushing ability.
yeah, I have a question for you after. Gonna catch up with the chat real quick. Yo, what's good, Tyler? Welcome in. Fantasy Football Garage says I kind of like RBs in round 2, 3, then pivot back and scoop receiver values in the next rounds. That's a good point because you do see a lot of receiver value in like kind of like rounds 4 to 6, and so on. Stopping by, drop a like. This is the hardest format for me. I never advanced teams. Uh, I do think that I understand because Eliminator. One reason why I do like doing it is I think a lot of people are approaching it wrong, and I do think people are they're just not structuring teams in a great way. So I do think there's an
Mhm.
advantage there. Like people get spooked up, man. Like yesterday, I got McBride like 10 picks past ADP, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's like quarterbacks go up higher, but then tight ends like they're falling.
Yeah.
Like what,
Well,
what
seeing
what's yeah, what's the logic behind that?
so, like, tight ends, I that's the position I have the hardest time with, like, judging in this format because, like, a guy like I mean, obviously, if McBride's here, like,
Dude, if
I think
McBride,
he's a smash. Ah, damn.
that would have been a
Alright.
smash, man. Okay.
Uh,
So I'm cool. I'm cool with Adams. I like Adams. I think JD's fine for a
yeah.
quarterback.
So, I think Adams for sure, and then we could either go Jaden or if you wanna grab a running back. That would be kinda my picks.
Yeah, I guess like Cook, Mixon, Chuba we could do, but also like I don't mind taking a Henderson, D-Mob at the 5-6 turn. So
Okay. I'd probably lean Jaden.
yeah, let's
Um
just go Jaden.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's a decent value, like, in this format because 'cause you're not quite paying the premium like the other guys, but he's the last, like, true elite probably. Like, Jalen Hurts is up there too, but I think Jaden, his rushing upside is just, like, only Lamar can really match it, or I guess
Yeah,
Fields
100%.
late, but
Yeah.
yeah.
They had Debo where I think, he does add another weapon in the offense.
Mhm.
And
Oh, but,
too, yeah, go
oh, go
ahead.
ahead.
No,
Oh,
you're
I
good.
was just gonna, circle back to the elite tight end thing. I I think that picking an elite tight end can be good in this format, like, I'm mixing them in because of that floor ceiling combo, but I think what I'm leaning most towards is picking, like, 2 in that kinda middle range, like, between, like, tight end like basically where like Njoku, Kraft, Ferguson, Goddard go. I like getting two kind of in that range and then tacking on a late guy because I think they can provide the same ceiling or similar ceiling, and then they also provide pretty good floor. They're like good pieces of their offense. So I kind of like the mid range build with three tight ends, but I'm pretty open to the elite tight ends too. That's a tough like call for me.
Yeah, like I have a trouble like having an exact approach what I'm doing. And you know what? Both could work, right? Because it is a 1v1. So you could take a Brock Bowers and you could be fine. You could make it to week 13. Or you could wait till three tight ends and you could, go far too. But where's the tight end of, like, let's say if you're not taking the elite tight end, right? The top three, where,
Mhm.
like, who are the tight ends you're targeting in the mid range?
Um, well, as a little bit higher one, I do like Hawkinson a lot because I think he's consistent. But
Okay.
in the mid range, I really like Njoku, Kraft. I like Goddard a lot. He's maybe a little bit lower priced, but I really like those three to target a lot. Like I like getting one of those if I don't get an elite. Njoku, Kraft, or Goddard. Those are kind of my favorites. How about you?
So like one thing is like I'm trying to, because I feel like there's spots in the draft where you just know clearly are the best position value. And
Mhm.
once we reach like the 130s, I think the tight ends and the quarterbacks are probably the best picks there. There are running backs I do like as well to take chances on, but in this pocket of tight ends, like you're getting potentially a top 5, 6 guy still. Njoku, I'm fine with. I'll take a chance with the rookie tight ends and just hoping that they're really good and they hit, right?
Mhm.
Tucker Craft, I think, could score double digit touchdowns. So I'm really comfortable with this group of tight end in this pocket.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. That whole pocket does feel pretty good. Um, the rookie tight ends, they worry me a little in Eliminator just in case they start out really slow. I'm pretty open to them in like other formats. In Eliminator, I'm still open to taking them, but they do concern me a little. I'll probably have a little bit lower percentage on them. Even though I do think they have the big upside, like they could vault up near, top 5 even.
For sure, for sure. So we are coming up on the clock. We have a 1-1-2 build. I think Harvey would be a good click here. I think, yeah. So
Oh, okay,
y-
yeah. I was gonna
yeah,
say Harvey Ridley.
I
I
was
think
I was thinking
Harvey
of
for
too.
sure.
Yeah, Harvey, Dima. Yeah,
Um,
we'll go Harvey. I think Waddle I am high on this year compared to the receivers around him, but what do you think?
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty open to that unless we want a third running back. Like, so what are we looking at on the next turn at receiver?
The next turn, we have a lot of good options. Yeah.
So maybe the third running back at Demont.
Yeah, I'm cool with Devon. And it feels good too.
Because
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, it
I was
feels
just gonna say like the only guys who might be available are like Pacheco and B Rob, but they might get snapped off before we even get to that next turn. So we might really be looking at contingent guys. So getting that third running back like locked in might feel pretty good with the receivers looking pretty good on the next turn.
Yeah, that's a good point because we don't pick again to pick 84. And most likely Pacheco and Robinson are gone. I am not gonna reach for Warren or Mason, but
Mhm.
the receivers, though, Matthew Golden, Reed, Ayuk, Mooney, I'm totally fine with two of those receivers.
Right, right. And I do agree though, like you were saying you're higher on Waddle. I'm pretty high on Waddle too. I think he has a big bounce back year.
Yeah.
Um, I just think kind of where we are, we just gotta kind of be careful the board doesn't like pigeonhole us into, reaching on a guy we don't really like that much or something. So getting Demont kind of lets us like, I don't know, gives us a strong starting three RBs that we feel pretty comfortable with.
No, I love it, man, because like I like having three RBs probably by like round 7 or 8. And we have Henry and D-Mont, like they're projected very well this season. And then RG Harvey's kind of that mystery box where if he is Alvin Kamara this year, our RB
Mhm.
room is looking really good. And it makes us feel better about taking Nico in the first round too, where we still have that elite receiver with the high ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think I think that's like a pretty good way to play it. Like on the turn, it's always a little tough because you never really know how the board is gonna do it. Like we might end up with a good RB value where we're looking back and we're like, oh, maybe we should have grabbed Waddle.
Yeah.
But just by ADP, it looks like we'll probably have better receiver values. But you just never know. Like on the turns, the board can really punish you or they can kind of help you out. It just makes it pretty tough.
Oh, and it has punished me before, man. It
Oh
has.
yeah.
I've gone, man. I've gone where I've gone like 4, 5, 6 straight. I've gone like 4 straight receivers because they were the value there, and then when I'm at the 5, 6 turn, all the running backs are gone. So you know what I
Mhm.
do? You know, I say F you, and I just take 2 more receivers. So I have like 6 receivers because I am not gonna reach up like a round and a half to take RB over a receiver I like.
Yeah,
Call me,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm the same way. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good, man. I just want to pop in the chat real quick. Yo, what's up, Henry? Craziest summer already? For real, June 1st.
Yeah.
Harvey, good pick here. Yeah, I think Harvey's a good pick because like the RBs do tend to push up, but the rookies, like for example, we got Harvey at a discount when all these RBs are going up. Fantasy Dog says number 6 like, just subscribe. Hey Nick Balkledge, Hartman, Candyman. Yo, what's up, Fantasy Dog? Appreciate you,
What's
man.
up, fancy dog?
But that's a good point. Like, think about this too, because Harvey goes before Chuba in like all the other
Mhm.
contests, but then Chuba goes mid fourth while Harvey falls in this. Now I
Mhm.
understand he's a rookie, but I think that's where the edge is because Hart, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a pretty big gap between those two situations.
Right, and he doesn't have, like, super legit competition, where, like, a guy like Caleb Johnson goes actually kinda close to his regular ADP. Damn.
Yeah, that's fine.
So Golden, I think for sure,
Yeah,
and
Golden for
then
sure. I know you said you like Hawk, where I'm cool with, but I do think we'll find
uh,
tight end value later.
yeah, and we probably wanna build out receiver a little better. Uh, I'd probably lean Mooney, but I'm okay with Ayuk too.
Yeah, let's look at the bye week. So we do have Mooney does go with the 5, but I'm okay with that. I like Mooney a lot. I think Mooney solidifies the number 2 there.
Mm.
So yeah,
Well,
let's go Mooney.
I just think Ayuk and Eliminator, like his ADP is not that much different than regular, and he
Yeah.
might not be playing the first couple weeks. I think that's a pretty real possibility. He probably has the worst injury from last year out of any receiver with the multi ligament tear, right? Fully torn ACL. I think he tore his
hmm
MCL too. Usually, guys like he might start on pup, and that wouldn't be very surprising.
100%. And you still got to weigh in that he did not look good last year when he was healthy. So it's
Mhm.
right now I'm kind of fading on Ayuk and Eliminators because I just think that the risk isn't baked in. And when you look at like the market, like you have guys like Trey Harris is down like 18 picks, all the rookies are down. So it's like
Mhm.
Ayuk is pretty risky compared to everybody else, but he's not really falling. So
I think a guy like him too, because like I would feel pretty confident that when camp opens, they're probably going to put him on pup at least at the beginning, and maybe he ends up recovering better and he is good to go like early in the season. But I think when he gets put on pup when camp opens, he's gonna fall like pretty hard, especially in eliminator format. And then he might be a pretty good value if he falls around like maybe pick 100 or something like that.
for sure, yeah, I could see him go up maybe around like Higgins, Emeka, possibly.
Yeah, that's kinda where I was thinking too. Like, just, like, in between maybe, like, Pittman and Higgins, or yeah, maybe even closer to, like, a Mecca Higgins range.
Let me ask you, how do you feel about betting? Because like we want floor, but we still want to chase ceiling because you are still trying to beat out like 1v1 what like 16 weeks in a row.
Mhm.
So you obviously want to hit on these later picks. Do you have any of the rookies that you like targeting in this range?
So in Eliminator specifically, I
Yeah.
lean Higgins the most because I think he has the clearest runway to, like, week 1 production, where I think Amika, Harris, and Burden, I like them all a lot as picks, but I think they might be a little bit stuck behind guys like week 1.
Yeah, yeah. Like
How are
Emeka's,
you viewing?
yeah, I would say like Emeka, I like a lot this year, but he's someone that maybe doesn't get going till like midseason. While
Right.
Higgins has a clear chance to be the number 2 target there.
Well, and especially when you look at like Kirk and Noel, they kind of both profiles like slot guys. Where I think Higgins, he's not really competing with anyone strong for that other outside role.
Exactly, yeah, like no one could replicate him besides Nico, but Nico is like gonna be on one side, Higgins will be on the other side.
Right, right, exactly.
All right, so we're coming up next, RB room. I'm kind of avoiding the giant. I don't want to take a bet on any of these giants coming up. Receiver, I think pairing Higgins with Nico is fun. Betting on that
Yeah,
offense.
yeah,
Tight
that could be a
end,
pretty cool combo.
yeah. Quarterbacks.
Um,
When you have Daniels, do you care where you take the second quarterback?
not especially. I don't want to get too locked out. I do like having a second good one. I mean, we could go with Stroud and like really buy into that Texans offense. He might be there on our next pick
Let's
though.
push that. I was gonna say we could push
Okay,
Stroud.
yeah. Um, I don't know. What are you leaning for this next pick?
So
RB.
I'm okay pushing 2 and up. We could do that. Tight end. I'd rather wait for tight end 2. I think we'll get good value.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Wait on tight end for sure.
yeah.
Uh, I like Tootin unless you really like any of those receivers up top.
No, let's go 2, man.
Okay.
I
I
I
think we have the solid early production with Montgomery and Henry. So getting even more upside going in our RB room feels pretty good with this build.
yeah, and I think this RB room we could probably stop at 5. In theory, we could stop here if we want to, but I do think it gives us more flexibility not to go 6. And then, like I said, I do think there's some receivers later that could give us solid production.
Right, right. Um, yeah, and we're looking okay on bye weeks. Because we have it pretty spread out. Week 8 at RB is a little tough, but that's our lower two guys, so we're doing
Yeah.
pretty good on the bye weeks, I think, too.
Yeah, bye weeks, I do try not to overlap too much. Like our receivers, we do have Golden and Mooney week 5, but Nico and Adams should fill in, and then we are betting on Higgins kind of, producing by then.
Hmm.
But we'll keep mind to that though.
Yeah, yeah, but it feels pretty good so far.
Yeah, man. Who's
Um,
your highest player in the Eliminator?
Highest owned.
Yeah.
Let me. I have Underdog open on my other tab. Let me. I'll check real quick.
Okay.
My highest owned is J.K. Dobbins apparently.
Jake.
Which but my
Talk.
highest owned like relevant are T Mac and Rashi Rice.
Okay. I was gonna
Uh,
say JK is like I feel like he's the one that you would avoid in this format, but I personally think that he'll be a RB2, so he's probably a decent value. Um, but
I
Rice
just.
and yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
I
Sorry.
was gonna say right. Who'd you say Rice and who?
Oh, Rice and T Mac, Tet McMillan.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah, because I think Tet McMillan falling a little, like he's gonna be a target hog right out the gate. I think day one he's kind of the alpha receiver there, taking in a bunch of targets. I think even though he's a rookie, like he's just day one gonna be number one target on that team. And just kind of his archetype is like he gets a lot of targets. He's kind of a target hog type player. So I think he'll give you kind of that floor and ceiling combo even as a rookie.
Mm-hmm. 100%. And you know what's funny is because I'm very high on Rice in this format too. I do like Ted because when I am in the 4th round and I'm looking at receiver, I feel good about Ted because I do think he has a good floor. And also Rice falls in this format compared to BBMs and other contests where I feel like that's the opposite way of looking at it because Rice projects to be like the target hog in that offense. So you would think Rice would go higher. He does here though at 25, but usually he falls to like pick 31 to like 34.
Oh yeah, I think even like Yeah, even I've even gotten him in the fourth quite a bit, like on that 3-4 turn or in the
Yeah.
fourth. Um, I think maybe it's just concerns with the injury, like maybe suspension, but I don't really think the suspension's a very realistic concern for him. Um, but I do think like with his injury, he only tore his LCL, and that was early in the season. Like
Mm.
it sounds like it's pretty much just wheels up for the injury for him, so that's not really scaring me off at all.
Yeah, no,
Um,
same here, same here. I'm all in. So Stroud does go.
mhm.
So I mean, we could double dip at tight end here, like Njoku, Warren. We could. I don't know if there's a receiver or RB you like here.
Um, I mean, I probably like the double dip at tight end. The most I I like some of those rookie receivers, but I don't know if we already kind of got enough upside. I don't really know if we need to throw them on this build.
Yeah, we'll go Njoku first. I mean, I like Kyle Williams. I like Jack Betch. I just
Mhm.
wonder if maybe we take the two tight ends here and we stop. Just betting Warren probably hits his upside, and Njoku has a really good floor.
Yeah, and that gives us the access to like throw a little more volume at receiver because we can definitely stop at two with these guys. So
Yeah.
we can throw a little more volume at receiver later. I feel good with the guys we have. We have good upside baked in. We have good consistent guys with like Devontae, Mooney, Nico. So I think we're looking pretty good. And then stopping at two, that can let us go all the way to like eight receivers if we want.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think this will be a build where we're kind of gonna kind of play the volume for receiver.
Mhm.
Quarterback, we can stop at two. Do you will you take a third quarterback if you have one of the elites?
So how I kind of play it is it depends a little on who my second QB is, but if I can get like a faller, like I've gotten Gino at like 170 or so. So if I get him as a little bit of a faller, I'll tack him on as a third for sure. Or like Stafford, Ward, any of those guys. But I don't like to like reach for my third QB. Like I'm comfortable stopping at two. Oh wow, not in this room. Gino's not falling.
No,
Damn.
we're in a room of sharps, man. I mean, we got Rice pulling up 25. We have Gino going 134.
What? 134. I don't know if that's sharp. That might be a little bit much. I like Gino, but that's like 20 picks ahead of ADP.
Well, I feel like the quarterbacks are going higher than usual in this format too.
Yeah, they're
Like
kind of
first,
ripping off the board.
yeah,
Yeah, like we definitely I think if we can get Tua, Stafford, or Ward on our next turn, we definitely want to grab one of those three.
agreed.
Um, I don't feel very comfortable with like Darnold's okay because I think he'll be early season okay. I just worry about his bench risk quite a bit. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how you feel about him.
I'm kind of a blind spot to Sam Darnold. I have taken him a little bit because he does fall, and I was trying to
Mhm.
think like he was like really really good last year, and I think everyone is kind of like by ADP they're like there's no way he could produce what he did last year. And
Mhm.
then, but like, what if he is good? Like, what if last year was not just the offense, and you have Jason, maybe Cooper Cup does not cook. I don't know. I think Sam is an okay pick. I don't take him much. I think I'd rather wait for Daniel Jones like way later because, like
Mhm.
you brought up, like I think Daniel Jones maybe is more likely to play Week 17 than Sam Darnold. But
Right, right. Well, and I think with Darnold, like, I think he's a better pick in Eliminator because he probably will give you early season production,
yeah,
but just like later in the season, he concerns me. But in Eliminator, I mean, obviously we want to play like we're gonna win, but the
that's a good
odds of
point.
making it
Yeah,
past his bye week are not, not the best odds, right? So getting that early season production can be good with how late he goes.
yeah. Week
Where in like BBM, I don't love him.
Yeah,
Oh,
week
go ahead.
17 doesn't matter at all in this format, guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I was thinking more like BBM, but yeah, week 17. No. Look, quarterbacks just came up
Damn.
to us, man. I mean, we
Good thing
could,
we got the elite.
yeah,
Uh, we could grab like Tillman, maybe Palmer. Palmer's fine.
yeah. Let's go Palmer first, right? I
Okay,
don't mind.
yeah.
I don't mind Palmer. I mean, we can do Tillman too. Is there unless there's an RB like here?
I mean, I'm okay with like I think double tap receiver unless you want to pair like Tank and Tootin together.
And just stop at RB.
Yeah, but I'm cool with Tillman
Yeah,
too.
actually, let's go Tillman
Okay.
because Tank has a week 8 bye too with Demont. So I
Oh
think
yeah.
it's probably better if we take one more RB with a different bye week. And then Tillman, actually, we do have David Njoku, so it's kind of like a bet on the Browns offense that,
Mhm.
maybe Joe Flacco's starting. Because in this format too, like let's say if Joe Flacco was to start like let's say like more than 8 games, I think where we get these guys is a pretty good value.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think when Flacco starts, their passing offense is actually pretty good. And and you do get kind of that upside, like maybe Dylan Gabriel or Shadur are like decent pocket passers in the NFL. And
Hmm.
like Shadur, like yeah, he was a late round pick, but he has the talent and the accuracy to be a decent pocket passer. Maybe he doesn't have an upside as a fantasy pick, but he might be able to support decent receiving options.
Hey, it's been a while since we've had a Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson type of player, right? Maybe Sanders. He's gonna be that the next day 3 quarterback. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah, well, and I think we all kind of know he fell because of the attitude and personality. It wasn't
Yeah,
maybe he wouldn't have been a first round pick either way, but I think he's more like a second round talent at worst. He's
yeah,
not like a fifth round talent, right? So if they like him in camp, he can kind of improve. He might be enough to support some decent receiving options on this team at least. And they have a good
yeah,
O line, give him good protection. It might work out okay. And Flacco, I mean, if it's Flacco, like he's a good I think he can support a lot of receiving options actually, even at this point.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, we've seen it time and time and time. Flacco is not maybe a great real life quarterback, but when it comes to fantasy, we love him.
Yeah.
Yo, how we doing, boys? First time viewer here. What's up, Fancy Dog? Hey, I appreciate you coming in. No Cat Mac, how we doing? Thoughts on Ridley? For me, I like Ridley. I think Ridley's a good value where he goes. I think that he's been decent with bad quarterback options the last few years, and now he potentially gets an upgrade with Cam Ward, where he's probably the clear dog. And I think he was number one in air yards last year, if I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
mistaken.
he was. He was,
So
yeah.
he was right. Okay, so that tells me that there is a lot left on the plate last year. So I kind of say Ridley could be this year's like Terry McLaurin from last year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm a huge fan of Ridley. I think just with Cam Ward, like I think with Cam Ward, like he could have a great year just on target volume alone, and he does play down the field. Cam Ward's a pretty good passer in college. Like I'm super in on Ridley at the price he goes. I think he could easily beat his ADP with the volume he'll get.
I need more Ridley, man, because I told myself like a couple weeks ago, I was like, you know what, like just take more Ridley, but I always end up either taking like an RB there or George Kittle falls or something. But I do need to start taking more
Mhm.
Ridley.
Yeah, I think I have a pretty big bag. Okay, yeah, I have like 17% of Ridley. Um, I really like him in that like 5-6 turn range in a regular draft. Just because
Yeah.
I feel like you can get him and then you can get like a Kamara, Ken Walker, sometimes Chuba. It feels pretty
Mhm.
good as a double tap.
So we are on the clock. How do you feel about handcuffing like Hill Henry? Does that make any sense?
Um, I guess I feel okay with it because they do both play. It's a good
Yeah.
offense. I
Or
mean, like
we have your boy Dobbins too.
yeah, I mean,
Well,
I lean a little towards Dobbins, but I'm
yeah.
okay with Hill. I think we do want to grab a QB here, probably just to make sure we don't get totally boxed. I mean, I think Show's probably starting all year, even if we don't love him as a player, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think Shell's the right pick. And I saw yesterday on a podcast, I think it was like it was like Hidden Weeks with like Josh Norris was talking to John Dangle where, you know what, maybe Tyler Show is better than expected. Like maybe he has some game to him. Who knows?
Well,
So
well, and he does have rushing upside too. Like he was a little bit
yeah.
of a runner in college, though. even if he's a bad real life quarterback, just getting those starts in with rushing upside, maybe he takes a 30-yard run to the house. Like that alone makes him viable to hit your lineup, even if he's like a bad quarterback in real life.
Yeah, and to get a starting quarterback that's gonna start all year in the last few rounds is really valuable.
Hmm. So
All right.
someone was saying Kirk to the Saints. I mean, if that's the case, like sure, but I don't really think you can bet on Kirk going anywhere at this point because people would be like Kirk to the Saints, to the Browns, to the Steelers. Like, who really knows with him, right? You can't bet on that.
No, we can't. Like, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think more likely Cousins would go to like the Steelers if Rodgers doesn't go there, or
Mhm.
I don't know. At this point, I think Cousins is probably just staying with the Falcons.
Yeah.
He's Fancy Dog says the non-Badgers and black Badgers per draft have been increasing last week or so. Advantage us.
Mhm.
100%, man. Bring in all the normies. Come on.
Yeah,
We're ready.
especially probably in like July, it's gonna really go up.
So Fantasy Football Girl says, could be totally off. I thought I heard Sanders fell in the draft because his quarterback IQ was awful. Apparently, NFL coaches gave him plays defense formation with obvious errors in them expecting. Did you hear anything about that, Hartman?
Yeah, that's like the Giants. That's what the Giants did to all the QBs they brought in. They gave him plays with obvious errors, and then apparently Sanders didn't catch him, and he got mad at them for even like doing it to him, which is not a good sign. Like I'll be honest, but
Yeah.
uh, like maybe his IQ isn't great, and I don't know if I have a lot of faith he'll be a great NFL QB. I was just more saying when he is a passer, like he's been pretty accurate as a pocket passer. Like his accuracy is some of the best in the class.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe if he's not the best like reader of defenses and stuff, at least he can like deliver the ball accurately. And some of these guys like Tillman and Joku, especially in Joku, he's really good after the catch with the ball in his hands. So I don't know. It's not like I love Sanders, but I think he might be able to support some decent pass catchers.
Dude, Sanders, like I think he has some talent, but he's just one of the worst football. Like he's not a professional. Like
Mhm.
he's way too cocky. He thinks he's better than he actually is, and I think that maybe he thought he was gonna be given a chance. Where in the NFL, it doesn't matter exactly how good you are. Like if you have a terrible mindset and you think you're the top dog, like NFL teams, like they'll just skip on you, man. And we saw that, obviously I think it was the Browns owner that like called the office and be like, hey, draft this guy. Because the Browns, if they didn't do it, like Sanders might have fell to what, maybe the sixth, seventh round, if not undrafted.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely could have. And like, did you see the video too of their like war room when they picked him? Like they
Yeah.
did not look happy. They look pissed.
It's like
But
your parent telling you to do something, right? It's like, it's like, hey, like like make this decision because this. And then they're like, damn.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so
I mean,
we are coming up. I think Down Jones is okay. Click here, get their quarterback. Also, receiver. Who's your favorite receiver here?
uh, I
Coker.
mean, I probably lean Wicks, but I'm okay with any of the top three guys, like Tutu, Coker, Wicks. Any
I
of
like
those guys are fine to me.
for sure. And then with our last pick, do we just rock these two, or do you think we need another receiver?
I mean, I think we're pretty good at receiver. We could grab Dimes if he has good upside.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, that feels pretty good.
I like it too because like we waited in the last few rounds to get two quarterbacks that potentially have rushing upside. And if like I think you mentioned it right, where like let's say A Rich and Jones, if you could like both of them starting our year is gonna give you pretty solid fantasy production in that offense with them running the ball. So Jones as a starter, and plus it's like a week. We're playing week 1, so we don't even care about week 17. So if Jones, let's say, starts like for 8 weeks for us in the last round, he's
Mhm.
potentially giving you the value of quarterbacks that go in the 120s.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, well, like I was kind of saying earlier, like if you said Daniel Jones is starting all 17 weeks, he would probably go near the end of that QB window in like the 110 to 130 range, just based on his like rushing upside. Like
Yeah.
maybe by like JJ McCarthy, like just after Jordan Love, Stroud, kind of guys like that. I think he would go like right in that window if you said he's starting all 17 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%, man. If Jones was going to start 17 weeks, I think he'd be valued ahead of Bryce, Cam, ahead of Geno Smith. He'd be like in the 130s around Stroud and T Law, I think.
Right, right. That's kind of where I'm thinking too.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think the build came together pretty good. I think ideally maybe we get a little bit better second QB than Show,
for
but
sure.
but I think overall the team's pretty solid, pretty well balanced. Receiver was a little light early, but I think we got good volume with good spike week guys like Palmer, Tillman, Wicks. They can all hit spike weeks, so
Hmm.
I think it feels like it came together pretty good.
This is a different build than how I usually build it, but I like it, man. I don't take a lot of Jaden, so it does feel good to have a lead. I'm okay with taking two later quarterbacks with Sean Jones. RB room I like, man. I mean, we have the big dog Harvey Dema, so we get early production with Harvey. Maybe he's just that guy. And then Tuin and Dobbins, I think both could rise up as the summer goes. Receiver room, I'm fine with. I think we got solid floor plays plus some guys like a Spike. I love taking David Njoku with Ty Warren as well. So
Mhm.
overall, solid team. Don't mind it. This room was a little weird too. Like we had, Michael Penix go 121, Gino 134.
Mhm.
So definitely some reaches for quarterback.
Yeah, I think grabbing the elite actually worked out really well with how that room like turned
100%.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If not,
Yeah.
we were gonna end up we could have been in a pretty tough situation if we didn't get Daniels.
Or we would have been like, just like they were kind of like reaching on those QBs just to like, oh shit, we're in the 10th round, we don't have anyone.
Exactly, exactly. Fancy Dog says, I never heard that. That makes a lot of sense given the fall. Martinez, Seattle didn't do well with the whiteboard either. Seeing him rate as high as RB4 among rookies. That is interesting. All right. I appreciate you stopping in, chatting with us. Have a good Sunday. We'll catch you later. That's hilarious.
Apparently, Martinez also had some like off the field issues
What's up,
that
man?
came out like after the draft. I think covered.
Dude, Martinez, man, like, dude is like built like a tank, right? Like 230, two
Oh
forty.
yeah. Yeah,
Monster.
yeah. Yeah, big like pounder type back. But yeah, he had some like off the field stuff, I guess, and none of that was like knowledge at all until post draft because it's like, oh, why did he fall? And then it's like, oh, he has these off the field concerns and stuff, or like bad attitude, stuff like that. So, but none of that was ever talked about before the draft.
Yeah, yeah. He was what, six rounder, seven rounder, I think.
Yeah, I think a sixth rounder,
Six rounder, okay.
but he goes to Seattle, which like if he was a sixth rounder to the Chiefs, you'd be like, oh damn, I'm still smashing Martinez, but seventh rounder, Fancy Dog said. Uh, so yeah, like it's just where he went. Like it kind of just kills him unless they trade someone away.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, so I think what I'm gonna try to do, if you guys are interested, a +8 for BBM. You down for a BBM, Hartman?
Oh yeah, definitely,
I,
always.
I need your takes, your ball knowledge with that. So let's try 30 seconds. When I do 20 seconds like by myself on the phone, easy, crush it. Like I love doing 20 seconds, but when I'm streaming, it's a little tougher. It's a little when you stream, were you doing 20 seconds yesterday
I
or 30?
was doing I've done all 20 seconds on stream, but there's been a couple times where like I got kind of cooked because like you're not totally paying attention to your draft until like your pick's about to be there, you're already up, and then
Hmm.
you're kind of like scrambling. And I've had some where I make a mistake. I'm like, I'm like, oh fuck, I should have picked like whoever, and then I didn't. And yeah, 30 seconds does seem a little bit better.
Yeah,
Like,
especially when I have a guest on because I like obviously when you're having a conversation, it's easier to kind of go back to it. But in a 20-second, it's like it's like basically like, hey, who do you want to take? Okay, him, boom. We can't really talk it out when we're on the clock.
right. You're like golden, gold. Like, you're just like saying the name. You don't have time to like, oh, how does this fit our structure or whatever? It's like this guy, yeah.
Yeah, and then you're like, fuck, we already have two quarterbacks. Why we take Drake May with Mahomes and Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's go, baby. So yeah, 30-second BBM +5 if you guys want to draft with us. Yeah, that was fun though, man. I really enjoy Eliminators. It'll be cool to do a BBM. I think it's been a while since I did a BBM, so it'd be nice
Okay,
to,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah, and I definitely feel a little more comfortable with like the BBM contest. I've tried to do my research on like eliminators. I think kind of talking it out, like we view eliminators pretty similarly.
yeah,
Um, but it is just like that different format where it's a little bit harder to really know like a good strategy. Where BBM kind of feels like, you somewhat know like what the best strategy is.
yeah, a
Or
100%, man. It's like, well, the Eliminator, it's not only like a new strategy, but also like the 1v1 aspect of it. It's like that's just we've never played a contest with that format. So I think that there are probably some more, like, I definitely need to sit down and really, really think and map out some things about that because I'm sure that there are edges that I'm not on exactly.
Mhm. What I think the one thing we agree on the biggest that I think is the biggest thing maybe some people aren't doing, but most are is I really think building out that running back room with a starting 2 or 3 relatively early is like I think that is the strategy to go with because they really give you that floor and ceiling combo, and running backs are just gonna project better week to week than most of the
Yeah,
receivers.
100%. Yeah, that is something that we agree on. And I always like whenever I go RB early, it's hard for me not to like my team. But whenever I do go 0 RB, it's like, man, like I'm taking like 7 RBs and I'm like taking, I don't know, man. Like it's just, I don't feel great when I'm doing it. Plus, two, I feel like when you go RB earlier, it gives you more flexibility to kind of like take the quarterback or tight ends that you want earlier.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because when you're in like the 10th round and you have like one RB or no RBs yet, then then you just feel like I have to pick RBs here. I don't have any other options, even if I got to reach. Where
Yeah.
when you have the kind of like that more balance like we had, we could kind of go any way we wanted pretty much at every turn. So it
Ye-
feels way better.
it does feel way better. And that's where, like, I mean, I'm happy we went Nico too, because our receiver, like my receiver room there, or usually when I build receiver rooms, they're still strong. Like I still like them. That one was a little weaker early on, but having Nico as a staple feels really good.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think we built it out right for having it be a little weaker where in kind of that like our wide receivers like 4 or 5 were the rookies with like huge upside, and then our last 3 guys were all kind of like spike week guys who can hit our lineup like certain weeks, right? So they could hit
Mhm.
that lineup different weeks throughout the season. So I
Yeah,
think that's a real good way to build it.
yeah, me too, man. So last year, were you how for so let me ask you, how long have you been drafting an underdog, and were you a volume drafter last year?
So last year was my first year as like a volume drafter, but I've been on underdog for like I think this is my 4th year now on underdog. But last year's the first year with like good volume in it. How
Yeah.
about you?
So this is my third year drafting serious on underdog. First year was terrible, bro. Like I was drafting like I thought I knew the secret to the world, and I did 62 BBMs, and I advanced 4 of them. I advanced 4 out of 62 BBMs. Horrible, man. Last year I did the same thing. So I did 62. BBMs, but I doubled it. I advanced 8. So not great, but it was an improvement. This year, plan on doing more volume. But also the first few years, I think because I was so new to best ball underdog that I was like, I'm on YouTube listening to all the like the key guys, right? Like ship chasing, Davis, ETR, just trying to learn. But this year, I'm taking an approach where I'm still listening to content because I think it's important to understand people's perspectives and kind of be in the echo chamber. But this year, I'm more taking stands on what I truly believe, on how I see it, what are my edges. I'm because last year I fell into kind of like the zero RB room. Like I was like, you know what, take receiver early, find RB later.
Mhm.
And obviously we saw how that worked out. So this year I am kind of taking harder stands, for myself.
I'm I'm doing actually like similar. Like I kind of did that same thing last year where I got too influenced by like all the kind of influencers going the same way. Where like, obviously, I mean you see me in like the chats like I
Yeah,
watch all the content still, but I'm
you're a mod
definitely
for like
like taking it more
every
of the good.
channel.
Huh?
I said you're a mod for like every channel.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah. Yeah, but they know I'm gonna be there. They know I'm gonna be there. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I watch so much content, but like I definitely am more willing to not just buy into what they're saying or like especially like you said with like ship chasing, like those really big ones. Like I
Hmm.
was taking them like gospel almost last year, where now it's like,
Yeah.
okay, they have good opinions, they're well researched, but if I just fall into what they do, there's so many people doing that. Like, how does that even really give me an edge when they have such a big influence on the platform anyway?
No, 100%. And like there's a lot of smart people, a lot of smart people that, I think it's good for people to watch, but I think it's more for people who like are new to best ball or they're still kind of learning the game because you're playing a field where it's like BBM is 677,000 entries, right? And it's like for me, I'm not an 8%, bro. I am if I like this guy and I think he is still in the draft, I will have 40% of him, right?
Mhm.
That's how I approach it. Like last year, I was super high on Barkley. I was like around 30% at some point. And then I kind of let, other people's opinions of Barkley matter, where it's like, you know what? He's not gonna catch passes, Hurts is gonna take it, blah, blah, blah. But when Barkley got traded to the Eagles or signed actually, I was like, Barkley's a first round pick. Like Barkley's gonna smash. But then I kind of let the opinions of others influence me. Not doing that this year. I am Nick Bach. I'll die. I'll die if I advance 0 teams at 150. At least I have my pride and the fact that I stood on business.
Yeah, that's the one that got me too. Like early on, ton of Barkley, and then like everyone was fudding him so much. I ended like normal, like I had like 8%, but yeah, if I would have just like done what I thought was right, I would have had like overweight on him. The one I
Yeah,
didn't let
yeah.
people get me on though was Henry. I had like double the field on Henry because I was like, nah, it's the big dog on the Ravens. Like if he's
Smart
healthy,
man.
the,
Yeah.
like, late 3rd round, especially how far he's fallen, like, late 3rd. I'm like, "How can I pass on this guy here?" Like, the dude killed it on the Titans, who suck. He goes to the best rushing offense in the NFL, like, how could you fade him? You know what I mean?
No, that's so smart, man. My dumbass was like drafting the third receiver, Tank Dell, over him because I was like, I need a receiver. I was like, if I don't take Tank Dell and take Henry, I'm gonna hate my receiver room. Like, come on,
Mhm.
man. Like that was such. And you know what's funny is because when the Texans were priced so highly, I was like, this doesn't work. Like you can't have Diggs, Nico, Tank all hit. Like it just makes zero sense. But it's still I still had like 10% Tank Dell because I was like, I need a receiver. I'll take Jalen Warren in the 80s because he's gonna smash, right? No.
Mhm.
Didn't happen, but that's okay. We live and we learn. All right. So Fantasy Dog says my fourth to 650 drafts last year.
Damn.
It's a lot of drafts. I think last year I did like 350, and right now I think I'm at 250. So I'm probably on pace. I might reach 4 digits this year. We'll see.
I'm similar. I was about 500 last year, and then this year I'm at like 200 already.
Nice. 200. Okay. Yeah, so we're pretty close with the volume.
Yeah,
Listen to as much as possible, then formulate your own strategy. Facts. That is the
exactly.
best
Yeah.
way to do it. Is it I don't want to butcher your name, but is it Dilu Tomsky? Is that it? Dilu Tomsky?
Lum- Lumsky.
Oh, Lumsky.
No, that's what BBG calls him. So that's
Okay.
kind of been his name, but I think it's D. Lutomsky.
Dilu Tomsky. Tomsky. I'm gonna call you Tomsky. If you have a problem with that, drop in the champ. I'm gonna call you Tomsky. He says he did the same thing. Yeah, I think a lot of people did. I think a lot of people faded the Barclays, they faded the Henrys, they faded the Jacobs. I'm around 252. Let's fucking go. Yes. Also, I caught it. D. Lutomsky was perfect. All right, let's get it, baby. +3 for a BBM, 30 seconds. Hop on in.
Yeah. Yeah, but last year though, the one that did kind of help my like advance rate that like he was like my big stand. I didn't care what anybody said was Tyrone Tracy. And I ended up with I had
Mm,
one share of Devin Singletary in like 500 drafts. And then I had like 35% Tyrone Tracy. So that one ended
35.
up helping me out. Yeah, yeah. He was like my mega stand. I'm like, Devin Singletary sucks. He's always played on good teams. And this year he's not on a good team. He's not gonna work out. Like Tyrone Tracy has juice. So that one worked out pretty good.
That's a
Oh,
great
and
call, man.
oh yeah, yeah, that one worked out pretty good. But what you were saying with the Texan stuff, I was actually pretty bought in on all the receivers, and I kind of agree. Like, how could three work out? Kind of thing was scary. But the big thing that actually kind of helped me there was I hated where CJ Stroud went. So I
Yeah,
kind of took a little less of the receivers just because I hated Stroud's price so much. But that just worked out kind of by accident because I didn't really hate any of the receivers. I only hated Stroud's price. So that one kind of worked out, but not because I was like, oh, like Tank Dell's gonna bust or Diggs is gonna bust. I mean, they both got hurt too, so how could you really know?
is exactly, man. I wasn't a Stroud guy. I was like, there's just no way I'm gonna take him this high. Yo, what's up, who hams? How we doing, baby? He says at lunch, no ears. I don't know I'll be honest, I don't know what that means exactly.
Yeah, I was a little confused too.
Yeah. I was like, okay, you're on lunch, but no ears. I don't know if you mean you're all ears or whatnot, but welcome in, man. Oh, also, I didn't want to. Fancy Doc says you two work pretty well together. I appreciate it, man. Hartman, he makes me look a lot smarter than what I am.
Nah, we're both best ball bros. I think we know what's going on in the landscape.
We're best ball
You know.
bros and we're sleeveless bros. Let's get it.
Yeah, yeah. We even matched up for this. Like we knew. Not
Yeah.
coordinated either. Yeah.
He said, "Did you get that proper last night?" Hoping so. Yo, what the fuck's going on, best ball guy? Welcome in. Shots fired. Oh, what's going on, guys? Shots fired.
Wait, who? Yeah, who who fired shots?
Who fired the shots? He said, "Did you get that proper last night?" Hoping so. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, guys, but we need one more for a 30-second BBM. Just one more. It's Sunday. I think most people are off right now. Do you think it's obviously slower on the weekends, huh? Or do you think the opposite?
Um, I think for the most part, it's slower on the weekends. I think like Friday, Saturday night seems like it
Yeah.
feels okay, like not super late in the night. But like on the weekend during the day, I think, people are just kind of out and about doing shit. So it's a little
Yeah.
bit slower.
Yeah. People got lives, people got life, they got family. I don't right now. I am strictly work, best ball, 24/7 right now, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much me too. Like work, best ball, hit the gym when I can, and then
Yes,
call it
sir.
call it a day.
Call
Repeat.
it a day. All right, so we got into this draft. We pulled the 1.3 right next to Who's Your Daddy 420. one of the greatest names I've seen ever.
Yeah.
Puka seems like I've seen them before. Fantasy Dog got in. We got Delu Tomsky in as well. Anyone else? I don't know if there's a few names I think I've seen a couple times.
Yeah, yeah, but Fantasy Dog and Lutomsky, obviously,
Yeah.
they're you know,
Who's your
fellow cat rat.
who's your daddy 420? That's a W name,
That's a
man.
fire. That's a
That,
fire name.
that's a fire name.
Bro, I wish when I signed up, I would have like thought about it more. Just like my screen name on Underdog. What the hell does that
So,
mean, Fancy Dog?
I think that's a shot
Shots fired
fired.
at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
I thought we were cool. What the hell?
guess not. The truth comes out. Wanted to say proper. Yeah, who makes doesn't know what's going on. Okay, we're at 1.3, man.
I I lean receiver personally,
Yeah,
but I'm cool
let's
with
do receiver.
Barkley.
Nah, let's go receiver. Who do you like more? JJ or CD?
I personally lean CD, but let's take JJ just because I think where we are, you don't want to fade JJ like at his draft slot. Like
No,
I'm
no,
doing a little bit of a stand on CD, but I don't think taking you got to get JJ here, or else you're gonna end up underweight, right?
yeah, and I am underweight. Like that is one thing because I've been CD over JJ. I probably have like 18% CD Lamb, 5% JJ. And
Mhm.
I don't want to just like I don't I think that might be getting maybe a little too cute because I do love JJ as a player. I think JJ McCarthy could be really good, but also that week 17 game is a lot of fun. And I am a JMO in the fourth round pro guy, so to get kind of like just thinking ahead, JMO JJ week 17 is nice.
Yeah, I agree. Like that game is probably like the ideal game to get into. And I'm actually pretty similar on the exposures. I think I'm at like 19% CD and
Yeah,
then like right around probably 4 or 5% JJ. And yeah, like it's one of those things like I love CD. I believe in the Cowboys to really bounce back and stuff, but fading JJ that hard might just be a little bit cute, kind of like you were saying.
I remember last
Um
year, people who did pay JJ, obviously, it was the wrong thing to do. And, you know,
well, unless you're
JJ,
fading him for Chase.
exactly, yeah, yeah. And I was a chase over JJ guy. So that did work out. But I think there are some people, even in the industry, that had Garrett Wilson over JJ, right? Like that is when I saw that, I was like, yo, like you're doing too much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like too much hate on the QB situation when like Kevin O'Connell, like he can get, he can get me or you off the street and make us look half decent at QB. That dude's that dude's offensive system is crazy. Like he made Josh Dobbs look really good for like 6 weeks. Like he can make
Dude,
anyone work.
Josh Dobbs, like he was like a quarterback one for like 6 weeks. And I remember in Dynasty, uh like people like were like trying to trade for him because they're like, yo, like this guy's running the ball, he looks really good. Like I need a quarterback. And then he had like 4 interceptions. I guess I forgot who he played. I think it was Arizona or someone. Threw four
Mhm.
interceptions, got benched, never saw the field again.
Yeah. Um oh so I did want to kind of say like cuz we took Jefferson over Barkley obviously.
Yeah.
Um, so I kinda lean receiver with an early first round pick, kinda because, like, how you see it playing out, where I think our best pick is
RB.
either gonna be tight end or RB, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I kinda lean, like and we can start 3 straight receivers or something still and still feel good, but I just think usually at the end of the second, it ends up being RB, Taylor, right?
Yeah, I'm cool with Taylor. 100%, man. Like, I don't want to strictly fade the RBs in the first round, but I do think structurally it makes sense to go receiver because the RBs that you find at the 2-3 turn project way more than the receivers here.
Right. I think T. Higgins is an okay pick over those RBs if you want, but I
Yeah.
feel like taking Taylor always feels really good. Kind of have your hero, your anchor,
Hmm.
and leaves you a lot more open, like later in the build at the 4 or 5, stuff like that. Where if you grab
Yeah,
Saquon, then you're like Taylor's there, you still want to grab him. You're kind of locked into having to hammer receiver.
yeah, 100%, man. With this next pick, I think I'm Rice, even over Trey McBride. But am I wrong for that?
I'm cool with that. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm all in on Rice. Okay, McBride goes, so easy pick. Yeah,
even
Rice.
better. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
McBride and Rice is a tough call for me, but I think Rice over all those receivers is like I'm totally cool with doing that. I get some exposure to like Marvin Harrison Terry, but like I would and if I was doing one draft, Rice over them, easy, not even thinking about it.
Yeah, like I like the receivers here, and sometimes I have a hard time on who I want to pick. But when it comes to Rice, I'm like, this dude's shown he could finish as a receiver one overall. He's young.
Mm.
He and people talk about last year how it's not sustainable what he did. But like, do people forget his rookie year? He was a receiver one after his bye week. Like he was dominating. Like
Right.
yeah, like people want like I don't care about last year. I care about his rookie year. He produced like a receiver one. And then last year maybe he was just better.
Right. Well, and it's like everyone who makes the argument against him says that same thing. Like he can't possibly keep up that pace he started last year with, and they just don't even mention the rookie year. Where down the stretch, like he was such a target dominant player and in a wide receiver one as a
Yeah.
rookie, not a first round pick either. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's like people try to forget about that because they want to fade him for some reason. And I really don't get it. I think Rice, I think Rice could easily be compared to those like Puka, Nico, Amon-Ra neighbors guys. And he could even fit into those top three receivers, in my opinion, too. If he has a healthy year and he's not suspended, like him finishing above CD, Jefferson, or Chase does not seem far fetched at all.
For sure, for sure. I think if he doesn't get hurt last year, he ends up being like a mid first round pick.
Yeah.
Probably around, Mara, Puka, and Rice. The two worries about Rice is suspension and injury. The suspension is looking more likely it's not gonna happen this year. So he's not gonna get
Mhm.
suspended. The injury is people also like it's funny, like there's people saying like, well, he tore his ACL last year. No, he didn't. He never tore his ACL. Like it was feared he tore his ACL, but he actually didn't tear his ACL. It's intact. He's fully healthy. He looks good. So it's like, okay, Worthy was good down the stretch, but he wasn't elite. Like there's a lot of metric that shows Worthy wasn't a great receiver. He doesn't project to be an alpha in this offense. Like actually, it might be good. Worthy is actually good because he could stretch the offense and actually have Rice open the field even more. So I
Oh
just,
yeah.
Rice is a smash right now.
Yeah, I 100% agree with pretty much like all that. Like I was getting into it on Twitter the other day. I was trying to make the case that like Worthy is just fancy Justin Watson. And if you look at like the advanced metrics, it kind of does actually add up. But I think
That's
he's
so
better than that. I was just trying to like really hammer it.
Oh,
Uh,
you will, man. If you mention on Twitter, if you say stuff like that, people go up in flames.
yeah.
They want to prove the opposite so bad. You know.
Yeah.
All right, so Jimo goes. I
I
don't
mean,
I'm
yeah,
cool with
more a little value.
I think DJ Moore, I'm fine with 410. I Hurts goes too. I was gonna say Devontae I like doing sometimes with the Hurts coming around,
Mhm.
but more I'm fine with late fourth round pick.
Yeah, I think we take the little value on more. That feels I'm not like it's hard to pick him just with all the talent, but I really do believe in the Bears and he should be the alpha
Yeah.
overall. So getting him late fourth feels pretty good.
Yeah,
Little fall on him.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that, man. Coming up with our next pick, I think Kittle's obviously a great value here, but I also
Mhm.
like hmm, in the 4 or 5 turn. Do you get who's kind of like your guys you target here?
I think out of the receivers, probably Smith is my favorite.
Agree.
And then I'd probably go all the way down to like even Pickens. Uh I like any of those top four, though I mix them in. but I mean, I'm super high on Dallas. I do like the Kittle call too, though. I'm totally cool with getting Kittle also.
Do you care about week 17 where like Harvey or Sutton with Rice?
Oh, we could do that. I wasn't actually thinking about that too much. We could
Because
do. I'd probably lean Sutton, just to really build out that receiver room.
Devontae,
Uh,
if we do get Devontae, I think I say we go Devontae. One is, yeah,
yeah.
I was just looking at where the Hurts was, but I think Devontae is actually really talented. And we have a 7 pick slide.
Mhm.
He's also a spike week guy too. So he is someone that he goes through stretches where he's like the receiver 2, receiver 8, receiver 11. And also like if the Eagles do pass more, I think Smith is a really good value.
Oh yeah, I think he's a good value in general. I like Smith a lot. Like I would always take him over Cortland in a vacuum. I think the
Yeah.
only debate was because we had the correlation, but I think
Yeah.
Smith is kind of that little like tier above where it's worth taking him even if he's not like really correlated with our other guys.
Yeah, and I've never been like so it's funny with corner Sutton, like I was like when Russell Wilson got traded there, I was like balls deep on Sutton, man. I was like I drafted him everywhere, love this guy, and we all know how that planned out, right? Everyone was the
Mhm.
bust on that offense. So since then, I feel like I've been just kind of like fading him. Hasn't
Mhm.
worked out, obviously, because it just seems like every year he just crushes it. But
Well, I think with Sutton too, like Smith is a guy who can like beat ADP and move back up into that like 2-3 turn range like he was last year. Where Sutton feels like a guy who was maybe more likely to return value, but it's kind of hard to see him really beating his price. Um, just because he got so much target volume last year, it's hard to see him like really beating that and stepping up even more with maybe more talented runners and some other pass catchers with like Pat Bryan and Ingram coming in. So
yeah,
I see him returning value maybe, but it's hard to see him really beating it and moving up much higher on the board.
no, that's a good point, man. And I think with Smith, I just think he's more talented. He'll spike, same like Sutton. So, and I feel good about it. ADP Fowler feels pretty good getting more and Smith. Kind of unique. We'll see his BBM like maybe more and Smith continue to fall, but as of right now, this is a little unique.
Well, I think Moore's actually maybe moved back up just a little bit because I think he was at like 42 or 43 a couple weeks ago. Like
Yeah,
when it like a week or two in.
yeah. Maybe the news of like Burden and Levin like being hurt. Maybe people are
Mhm.
like, you know what? Maybe DJ Moore is just the clear number one target for Caleb.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, all right. So on this, I guess we'll wait for Fantasy Dog to pick. They go
Yeah,
Montgomery.
I
So
think I think there's a guy here that we would take. I wonder if you're thinking what I'm thinking.
I think so. I think we're thinking the same guy.
Yeah.
Uh, we'll let this pick go through, but and then so I'm Rome.
Yeah, I just think it
Okay,
makes
yeah.
it makes sense, man. Like we go
Get
Rome,
the
we
double.
we have DJ Moore, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's just Moore and Rome being the two options, like eating in this offense, and then coming back. There's receivers I like, but how do you feel about Junkins and like maybe a Pollard?
I think we go. I think we go with a running back with this pick.
Yeah,
I'm okay with any of the three. I probably lean Judkins the hardest.
me too.
Um, but I like all three of these guys kind of where they go. Caleb's probably the guy I'm the lowest on, but I am coming around a little that he might have pretty good
I'm
upside.
glad. I've been fading Caleb. I'll always take Junkins over Caleb. And then
Mhm.
also I just think Pollard's a better pick because Caleb, even like he's probably not the starter, like Jalen Warren's gonna play. And then also that offense is probably gonna be really bad. While Tony Pollard, like better offense now. I think he's a clear guy. He's a good RB. I mean, look, 260 carries, 1100 rushing yards, 40 passes. Like I don't think Caleb could do that this year for his ceiling.
That's fair. And I think maybe people are pricing him with Pollard that like Tajay has a bigger role than he actually does.
Yeah,
Because when you look at Pollard healthy last year, like he dominated
he
workload
was a
in that
workhorse.
Tennessee backfield. And they should be a pretty improved offense. You know, it can't really be worse than Will Levis throwing like 2 picks a game. Like even if Cam Ward is like not the best, it
Yeah,
can't be much worse than it was. So yeah,
that's a
I
good point.
really like Pollard too.
Yeah, and I know there was a report like where we want Spears to play more. They said that last year, and then they showed like what they really felt about that backfield.
Right. We want Spears to play more. Here's 25 carries for Tony Pollard.
Is yeah, yeah, yeah. Like Tony Pollard's banged up, and still getting like workhorse volume. And
Right.
maybe Cam Ward is really good, and that offense is more efficient. And maybe Tony Pollard is scoring, closer to like 8, 9 rushing touchdowns.
Right, right. And if the offense as a whole is improved, like he could be a massive value where he goes. Yeah, I
Yeah,
really like Pollard. I'm definitely gonna have a pretty good bag of him. And it feels like he's kind of a tier break to those next guys where there may be a little more question marks.
yeah,
Where Pollard feels like really safe as like the locked in RB1 in that backfield. I feel really good getting him with like a Jonathan Taylor like we did because I
hmm
feel like we have two like ultra solid every week in, week out consistent guys. And we can kind of go however we want with the rest of our RBs now.
And when you scroll down, and like we have elite receiver production right here.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm really liking how this one's coming together so far.
Yeah, me
Um
too. Yeah, Fantasy Dog says I already messed up. 14 bye week bros. Yikes. The bye week bros are
I,
gonna come. Oh, so this wait, hold up. Fantasy Dog is going to 1-4-1-1. I don't think I've seen this yet.
I was a little surprised when they took Montgomery because they had a 1-2-1-1 and then Aaron Jones after that. Must have been the bye week, like worried about the bye
Yeah,
week.
yeah. This is
I,
interesting build though. I wonder how he plays it the rest of the draft.
yeah, I do think with that build, like you can build out of it, you know, you got a hammer receiver now. But I think it could be when you grab that many running backs, I think grabbing the elite tight end and QB is a little bit too much capital at like positions away from receiver. I think you got to kind of make your decisions where you want to go away from receiver. It
Yeah.
might be a little bit too far away from receiver, but if you hammer receiver, it could work out.
Yeah, I would say this is probably a 2-4-10-2 build. Like you probably just should have 10 receivers. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're on the clock.
Um. So I like probably. Do we want Caleb yet? Probably not, right?
No, well, who's your favorite
So
RB receiver here?
probably Mason or probably Mason first. We could
Yeah,
look at
we
like
have
Hicks or Pittman if you like them a lot.
no, I think Mason's fine. We do have
Minnesota
we
correlation.
we have JJ, so I like that. Our third RB. I feel really good about our receiver room right now, and I do want to also. I think taking Caleb here is fine. Kind of
Yeah,
just
I think because we have them double stacked, we should just grab them, not push it.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And you know what helps is when you take JJ in the first round, and then you end up still having four receivers that we like. It does give us flexibility to do this as well.
right, right. And yeah, we're not even pulling them up that much. It's only a couple picks ahead of ADP.
No, it's
His
just that
ADP's been rising.
who Caleb?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
'cause he was like 110, 115 before, I think.
Dude, I've gotten some sick balls on him where like what I'll do is either I don't have a quarterback and he'll fall like to like the 116, 17. Or what I would
Mhm.
do actually, I would take Burden first, and then Caleb would fall to me around like 118, and then I would go back and take Loveland to backstack as well. So I've done
Mm.
that a few times. And also like Caleb, like yeah, like the thing with Caleb, man, is like he was bad last year. I think people, or let me say this, he disappointed from being the number one overall pick, right? But when you look
Mhm.
at what he did for fantasy, like it was pretty good. Like he threw for 3,500 yards, ran for 450. He had multiple games where he was a quarterback one overall. And that is all with a disappointing year. You bring in Ben Johnson, you add two new weapons. Like logically, it just if he progresses, like Caleb should be a smash at his ADP.
And like Shane Waldron, he's kind of shown to be a pretty poor offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And the other huge thing with the Bears, they brought in massive help on the O line. So
Oh,
like
that's a
they
good
brought
point.
in 3 starting O linemen in free agency, which I
Yeah.
think is going to be massive. He was under pressure like an insane amount. I think he led the league in like sacks taken, right? Last year.
Probably, yeah. I do know he was under pressure a lot. Some of it was his fault because he does hold on to the ball a little longer, but the O line was terrible. Dude, like they revamped that offense. They get Ben Johnson. Like for me, like is this you know how CJ Stroud they got Diggs, right? And then everyone's like, oh, Stroud had such a good rookie year, this and that. Like Caleb had a better rookie year than Stroud, I think, as a rookie.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I think if there was no Jaden Daniels, Caleb's rookie year would not look as bad. People wouldn't be as down on him for it. But because of Jaden Daniels, it makes Caleb look bad by comparison.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that, man. Let's say
So
quarterback.
so now
No.
we could go Loveland to go with Caleb, or we could go like Williams May double tap. We have McCarthy open though, so I guess we don't need to.
Yeah, I do love May. Like let's do this. Williams or May first?
Well, probably Williams first, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're
And
right.
then if May gets taken, then we can just take Loveland and we'll just target McCarthy later
Yeah.
because we
May,
don't need May.
no, we don't need May. And you know what? There are quarterbacks I like later we could get, right? I'm just such a May fan. Like he's gonna be my highest. Of course, who's your daddy,
Does
drafted
he
A
have
Rod?
Diggs?
No, no dicks. He
Oh,
just
damn.
he's everyone's daddy, so he just does what he wants, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He had to
Um,
show you. He had to show you.
he had to show me, yeah. But that's fine though. I think I'm rather kind of wait to see if we get JJ back at 11 goes to. All right.
All right. Damn.
Think about
And
this.
they both had a tight end, so I kind of thought he'd be safe.
I did too. I mean, I love Warren. I think Warren's really good. Receiver, I think we're okay right now.
Yeah,
Is there
definitely not receiver.
I mean, Stevenson, Etienne, I don't know if you have RBs.
I would probably lean Warren unless you like one of those RBs quite a bit.
I prefer Warren. Yeah, let's go Warren. So this is
All
one
right.
thing that I've been doing a lot too is once we like I really like the RBs coming up. Like I think there's good stabs to take like Ray Davis. I think Rashad White's fine. Garando, I'm a big fan of. But then like the receivers coming up, do you take this like this room of receivers? Like, do you have guys you like to drafting from QJ all the way to like Wando?
Um, um, not a ton. I'll throw some shots at like Tillman
Dobbs,
for upside.
Tillman.
Thielen, I think, is good floor. If like not in this room, I probably wouldn't take Thielen because we're pretty strong. But if I'm feeling a little lighter, I think he's kind of a consistent like target getter. So he feels good. But I kind of more wait for those guys in that like 170 range. I like those guys quite a bit where they go.
Is
Like the Alec Pierce, Pat Bryant. Like I like those
yeah.
guys where they go better. How
I
about
wonder
you?
what
Are there any guys in that range you target?
I do like targeting Dobbs. I think he's fine because he's gonna play a lot.
Mhm.
I was taking some look at, but it's like with I was saying like with Thielen, like is Thielen just the clear number two, and maybe he's just a good value again. He's kind of like he's just the unsexy pick, but he's gonna get the second most snaps behind Ted.
That's how I'm kind of viewing it right now. I think Leggett and Coker are kind of fighting for the wide receiver 3 spot. Um, but I just like Thielen, like especially on a build like not as much this one, but let's say we went more like rookie heavy early, or we
Yeah,
waited on receiver a little bit longer early. I like Thielen just as like a target earner type guy who can just get some work, especially early season production. Like if you're worried about some rookies and stuff, he might be real good early season and then kind of fade as it goes He's like, you know, like they say now, like chaperone, kind of chaperones your young receiver room out of the
Hmm.
early season.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I do think I need to start taking Thielen more because he does have chemistry with Bryce. Like we've
Mhm.
seen it. And Leggett, Coker aren't like they're okay, but like I don't think either one's gonna take a huge step forward.
Mhm.
So
Um,
we're looking pretty good with McCarthy coming back to us, I think.
yeah, that looks pretty good. And then are you thinking, do we want to stop at 2 or do we want to look for a third QB?
I think we'll play it. Like I think if we get JJ, we'll kind of just play the board because I'm okay with stopping Caleb and JJ, but also if like I don't mind taking a third if we feel pretty good about our RBs and tight ends, or I mean our RBs and receivers.
Mhm.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
because like
that sounds good to me.
yeah, because with Tyler Warren, do you I think probably three tight ends I would still do with him.
Yeah, I think if we did get okay, and Joku goes. So yeah, I think probably 3 tight ends with that. Um, and we can wait a little if we want. We don't have to grab one right here.
Yeah.
Uh, but we could grab one with our next pick also. I like some of those guys coming up at tight end too.
Yeah, I
Um,
never really take the Titans here. I know I if I like Hurts, I'll take Goddard or Kincaid with Allen, but I don't think there's a big difference between the Titans here than the Titans later with like Gasecki, Henry, the range.
yeah, I pretty much agree with that. I do like Goddard a little bit just because he's been very efficient in his career.
Yeah.
Um, but I definitely can see how you can make the argument like tagging on 2 of those later guys, especially when we already got Warren, does feel pretty good.
So this is a good, theory. If Herbert falls to us, is the sharper thing just to take JJ with a stack or take Herbert for the value?
I think JJ because he goes with our first round pick.
I
Like
agree.
we're
I
betting
agree.
on the Vikings offense because we took Jefferson, right? Like if we had like Addison, I would say maybe just the value on Herbert because I like him better. But with
Yeah,
our first round pick, if the Vikings suck, our team's kind of dead anyway. Um, so we're already making such a huge bet draft capital wise. I think we want to stack it and kind of double down on that bet. And we have
yeah.
Mason too, so we're kind of betting on the Vikings as a whole.
100%, man. If this was my first year, I so my first year playing underdog, when I saw quarterback go like 30 picks, 20 picks past ADP, I was like, man, like duh, this is an easy pick. Like it's non-correlated. I have no stacking options, but I was like, this is such a good pick. I'm unique, blah blah blah. But now it's like, like Herbert could fall to us like right here, and I still wouldn't want to take him just because I think structurally it hurts us more.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I'm
mean,
like if you wanted to, I'm open to it because
actually,
it is a big fall. I love Herbert,
dude,
but
it's yeah, okay, let's think about this. I mean,
I think either Herbert or Rashad White. I think one of those two would be the best pick.
who's more likely to help us, man? Herbert or White? Like,
I mean, Herbert runs enough. You don't really need him stacked. We can
eventually,
throw on like
yeah,
go ahead.
Conklin, screw it. Forget what I said. We get Herbert 24 picks past ADP. Advantage is very
Yeah.
important, guys. Like, yeah, like week 7, like, look, unstack Herbert in the playoffs isn't sexy, but weird things happen. We got to get there. I think Herbert as our third quarterback is fine. We could tack on maybe a Tyler Conklin and maybe just sell ourselves like, hey, Conklin's gonna be Herbert's like, you know, guy down the stretch. I
Yeah.
don't know, but
Well, I was just gonna say like Herbert that late. I mean, just the upside he gives you at quarterback, like that's massive to advance. And
yeah,
both of our first 2 guys are well stacked. We have them both double stacked. So, like, yeah, obviously you want your third QB to have correlation, but we don't have anything on our team that even can correlate with the later guy other than like Warren.
yeah.
Um, so Herbert at that huge of a value, like I really don't hate that pick at all.
No, I love, and then it's like I think all these quarterbacks later are values already. Like I think the quarterbacks we see in the hundreds are pretty decent values. And also, it's like, look, I think Rashad White's a fine RB here, but like Herbert's gonna help us more than White will. And plus, like we could
Oh
find,
yeah.
like Roshan Rico, like I could tell myself that's more like a right or Rashard White. There's no quarterback later that will have where they're like Herbert.
Right, exactly. And I think we're strong enough at RB. We didn't really need a fourth RB this soon. Like we
No.
could have grabbed White, but our RB room feels pretty strong. We have two locked in guys and then kind of like a committee guy that we feel pretty good about, at least on this
Mhm.
build where we're betting on the Vikings and stuff.
Well, at least Mason is gonna still get work. Like he still could spike in our lineup. We don't need an injury for Jones for Mason to pay off, but he
Mhm.
does have that contingency upside in case Jones did get hurt.
Right. And Aaron Jones, I mean, he's I think 31 now, and he's been hurt almost every year that I can remember, every year recently at least. Like,
Yeah,
he's dealt with injuries basically every season.
he does. Yeah, and you know what? Maybe this is a year where things kind of fall back, where we see kind of some injuries, right, to these older RBs.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, last year they kinda all, like, were sun running it, like,
Yeah,
it's not very likely that runs back.
no, it's not. Yeah, so Fantasy Dog says a 2-4-10-2. Adam, it's basically a whole new staff in O line. He's referring to Caleb, which yeah, I mean Caleb has a whole new make makeup. 14 like. I don't know how many likes I have, but if you guys are here and haven't liked, I appreciate it. It helps out, puts me on the algorithm. Appreciate you, Best Ball, on call for that as well. Fantasy Dog says my new strategy went haywire. My next receiver room will definitely be unique. We'll check it
Mm.
out. We'll see what you're doing here, man. After. I'm sure it's chaotic. Okay.
I saw Fantasy Dog building out the
Like
Panther stuff.
the Panther stuff, yeah.
They had Thielen Leggett double tap.
That's nice, man.
Uh, I
Okay, is
think
there yeah,
Braylon?
Braylon,
What
I'm
do you
okay
think?
with. Yeah, I'm okay with Braylon.
What's
And
that
then
tight end? Anything you like?
not really, man. Like I think Braylon, I think we take and then whatever tight end falls potentially.
Okay, yeah. I'm really out on Likely. If you were a big fan of him, I would be okay with that, but uh I'd rather just grab the RB and then whatever tight end makes it out of like if Likely makes it, we can
I
pick him, but
I kind of like
go ahead.
Gasecki more than likely. Like I just the thing with likely it's like I just think he's only gonna pay off if Mark Andrew gets hurt or traded.
Right. Well, and Andrews came into last year with that injury. And
Yeah,
like I think a lot of Likely's production was early season. Even that first week, he had like 100 yards.
yeah.
Like after that, he had a pretty bad season.
Is there an RB that you like here, or do you want to take a tight end?
I think we lean tight end because it'll be pretty fallen off.
Okay.
But I'm okay with some of those RBs if you really wanted to go that way.
Gasecki or Ertz?
Either. I don't have a strong lean to be honest.
Okay, we'll go Gasecki. I think the thing with the Gasecki that's interesting is 65, 665, but only 2 touchdowns. And the
Mhm.
thing is that he's the clear number 3 option in that offense. They signed him to a new contract extension, and touchdowns are random. And I think Gasecki could like this is kind of like a hot take, but I think Gasecki could outscore Sam Laporta this year. I really do. Like I really do. I really think Gasecki could, be at least similar to what Sam Laporta is going to do for the Lions.
I could see it if Gesicki runs a little hotter on touchdowns. He had good
Yeah.
target volume. Obviously, he plays in a top tier offense. They both do. Um, but Gesicki had good target volume, and I think it was pretty bullish. Like they re-signed him like immediately this offseason. Joe
Hmm.
Burrow's talking really highly about him, just how they have a good connection. So if he gets a little bit hotter on the touchdowns, it doesn't seem crazy to think he could like way outscore ADP.
No, I mean Joe Burrow is probably going to throw for what 4,500, maybe 40 touchdowns,
Yeah,
and
probably around there. Yeah.
right, like he's like I don't know, like to have like one thing I am doing more is I am targeting tight ends on good offenses more, right? Like I want the
Mhm.
Gesicki's of the world. I want like Port I'm cool with. I think Hawkinson, like you mentioned, is pretty good, but I just think if you target tight ends on good offenses, maybe they get lucky and have a good touchdown run out.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a good way to play it because especially with like I think with the earlier tight ends, like maybe like Hawkinson, for example, even if you don't love the Vikings, he'll be a target hog. But like with these later guys, like you're really hoping if one of these guys gets like if you said any of these guys in this range have 8 to 10 touchdowns, you're hammering them. You want 40%,
Yeah.
right? Because that
Yeah.
is going to be the driver where like a Fryermuth, maybe he out targets Jasicki, but what are
Hmm.
those targets really worth? Right? When
Yeah.
he's playing on a terrible offense with not many other passing options. Like, I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
last year he did good on touchdowns, but
I'm
they
surprised
were a
with
better
this.
offense.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know he had 7 touchdowns last year. That's actually kind of insane.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow,
but
interesting.
you know, this year they're expected to be even worse, I would say at least.
And look, the 2 years before that, like he had 98 targets his second year and only 2 touchdowns. Like touchdowns are random, like for especially for tight ends, I feel like so.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's hard
so
to
just
predict.
bet on a good offense. Unless you
Yeah.
have correlation, that can be a tiebreaker, but
For me, I think Josh Hill would be a good click for this room.
yeah, that feels good to me.
Fifth
I like him.
RB.
I like Jarquez Hunter, but
Yeah.
Hill's fine.
Hill, the thing with Hill is I think like he's not a zero. Like Hill is clearly the RB2, right? He could still
Mhm.
spike in your lineup. And I think if Henry went down, which I think I mean he's Henry, right? But like he's what 30, almost 32,
31, I think. Yeah,
31,
32
right?
maybe.
You know,
Yeah.
coming off like Hill, I don't know. I think Hill's a decent click here. Hunter, I like Hunter, but it's still kind of betting on the unknown where maybe he's not even the RB2.
Mhm. Um,
Fair. I mean, do we
so
take Fairmute? Big. I mean,
we we could take him unless you want to target Conklin last
yeah, I
round.
want Conklin.
So let's go receiver, I think, right? Get a
Yeah.
7th.
Who's your
Um,
favorite?
I mean, Wandale's fine, Coker's fine, Dontavian Wicks is fine, AD Mitchell's fine. Any of those like 4.
I was like, do we have any correlation at all?
Uh, Not really.
No,
I mean,
right?
I think Packers play the Bears week 16, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So that's like some correlation, but yeah, I don't think any of those guys really correlated a lot.
I just can't take
Um,
Wandell, man. Like Wandell, like he had 93 catches last year, but only put up 136 points.
yeah. Well, and I think with Wandale, our receiver room is too strong to where like
He
what does
won't spike.
Wandale do? Right. Wandale's that guy like I have a thin receiver room. I'm gonna grab Wandale because I need some targets on this team. But with a strong receiver room, I don't really think he's worth picking.
Yeah, and Wicks, the thing with Wicks is like he like we saw last year the struggles he had catching the ball, but like he's still gonna play, I think, a lot of snaps. He still could spike in our lineup. Like he's still a good receiver. You just can't catch the ball, you know. Obviously, that's important for it's pretty important for a receiver to catch, but maybe this year he worked on it. You know, the Packers, I think, really do like Wicks a lot. So I think they're gonna put him out there and then it'll be on to him to obviously, succeed. But three,
Well,
yeah, no, go ahead.
oh, go ahead. Or I was just gonna say Wicks led the Packers in targets last year, and he's talented. He can get open. He just, you know, needs to wipe his gloves off or something.
Like in the last few rounds, when you're looking at like a receiver, I think the two things I look at is like, okay, like who's actually very talented, which there's not a lot of receivers in the last few rounds that have talent. Second is like, okay, are they going to be on the field? Can we see a path for them? Wicks is talented and he's going to be seeing the field. And
Mhm.
he's also a receiver that can spike in your lineup. So it's like for me, I have bro, I have like 34% Wicks. So maybe I'm just like coping, but I think Wicks is one of the best picks you know, last round.
For me, it's him and AD Mitchell. I like have a ton of both those guys because I think they both showed the talent, the ability to like separate and beat coverage, but neither one of them can catch. They kind of have like the same problem.
So
Um,
sell me on Mitchell, man. Sell me. I know he's like a good separator, but like I
mhm.
just maybe I have a blind spot, but I just feel like they add Warren there. You have Downs and Pittman, and then Alec Pierce. Like, isn't he the clear guy in the Mitchell role?
So I think that Mitchell, he can win down the field, which yeah, Pierce is kind of in that role. I think Mitchell maybe has a harder time seeing the field, but I think with Pittman's like Pittman's kind of injury concerns, and then Alec Pierce had like a really efficient year last year, but his past years he hasn't really hit that level. So I'm thinking maybe Alec Pierce got like just a little bit fortunate with his deep field looks. And I think Mitchell, just like I guess it kind of goes back to his draft capital, his like pedigree there, and then his ability to separate. Those guys sometimes if they take a little bit to come on, they can really like break out a little bit later in career. But I understand the argument where there's a lot of guys ahead of him.
Yeah.
Um, it's tough. I just think he has upside just as far as like so I think Conklin here, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was like, unless do you think we need to go one RB with this room, or do we just take the stack?
I mean, I think we're okay at RB, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. Because we're betting on Taylor. I mean, it's a little thin, but I think we're just betting Pollard's that workhorse, and then we have two workhorses, so we're fine.
And Mason will get carries. So
Yeah, and then Justin Hill is like as our fifth, where like he's gonna play, he's gonna potentially spike, so I'm fine with it.
yeah, I mean, I think that that worked out pretty good. Oh, but just to finish up quick on AD Mitchell, I don't know. I think just as like a good separator, good down the field target, maybe he doesn't really take a huge role, but on limited snaps, he could really spike and have big plays and big weeks just on like a more limited role, maybe. Where some of those other guys, it's harder to see them doing much unless they got a full time role. Wicks is the same way though. I like Wicks a lot too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think Wicks has more of a clear path for a role, but I could see the thing with Mitchell. Like I said, like there are some metrics that support that maybe he is good.
Mhm.
And so you're just betting on the talent and maybe an injury. All right, so I'll let you take care of this, Harmon. 3573.
All right. So, yeah, 3573. So at QB, we have Caleb Williams, JJ McCarthy, Justin Herbert. That feels super strong at QB. Love that QB room. RB, we have Jonathan Taylor, Tony Pollard, Jordan Mason, Braylon Allen, Justice Hill. I feel fine with an RB room like that. Maybe it's a little on the thin side, but I think with our top two guys consistent, third guy gives us big upside. Braylon's upside, and then Hill kind of mix in, maybe fill in some of the gaps on lower weeks. So I feel pretty solid with that RB room. Wide receiver, we got Jefferson, Rashi Rice, DJ Moore, Devonta Smith, Romo Dunze, Kyle Williams, Dontavian Wicks. I feel super solid with that receiver room. We got nice stacks with our QBs, double stack with Caleb, Jefferson with McCarthy. So I mean, I think that feels very solid at receiver.
Yeah.
Got some upside with Williams and Wicks a little bit later. And then at tight end, we got Warren, Jasecki, and Tyler Conklin. I think a tight end room like that feels pretty fine. We lean Conklin just because of the correlation, but I
Mhm.
think with Warren at the top, we're really betting on his upside. And then Jasicki kind of gives us more of that like consistent guy that we already kind of know his role. And he has upside too. They all do. So it feels
Mhm.
pretty good all around, pretty well balanced team.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed this room. If I am gonna be weak at a position, I'm okay doing the RB a little bit because we're betting Taylor and Pollard are just gonna be healthy and be the two RBs. So I don't mind the RB room being a little thin, but overall everything else feels pretty strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cool
Yeah,
with
no, I
that.
like that one.
Yeah, and then I think there's a couple people. I'll go over their teams real quick. Like Fantasy Dog, like I want to see this team. So he went
Yeah.
crazy. Like he did a start that I don't think I've ever done before. 2-4-10-2. He has Hurts and Purdy. So quarterback room, I feel good about that, right? I like
Yeah.
having my elite with Purdy. CMC, Chuba, David Montgomery, Aaron Jones, right? So he goes super early with the RB room, projects for a lot of volume, a lot of upside. I 100% agree with stopping at 4 here. Real quick, one look at the tight end though. Bowers and Sanders got a good value on Bowers, takes on Sanders. So tight end, quarterback, running back feels great. Now let's see this receiver room. We have Cooper Cup as our receiver too. We have so we have Mike Evans. Okay, that's fine. But then Cooper Cup, Shaheed. Jack Betch, Leggett, Thielen, Hopkins, Keenan Allen, Westbrook and Keenan, and Alan Lazard. I don't-
Um,
did he come back, man? Did he get enough receivers here to make this work?
I mean, it's not like it could work if Cooper Cup is like pretty good and healthy all year. So you have like two kind of consistent
Yeah,
guys, but I do feel like especially just with some of the late guys, maybe they kind of lack upside just because they're a little bit either like older, they don't have the best roles.
yeah.
I'd rather maybe shoot for like younger guys and just hope they're like mega smashes. Where like a Hopkins could be decent in that offense, but it feels maybe still a little bit thin, maybe not quite the archetypes I would have targeted. You know, like, you got Thielen late, that feels all right. Um, but yeah, maybe a little bit thin, but it's going to be hard to build out of that when you start like that either way.
He says
Oh,
be nice. Yeah, he's being nice. I
fire squad.
yeah. I'll say this: like the thing you have working for you is you have elite QB, RB, and tight end. So if they all hit,
Mhm.
all you really need is Mike Evans, obviously, to do what he does. Cooper Cup bounce back season, and then if you could get enough from some of these receivers, like maybe Keenan Allen signs with a team and he's kind of doing what he did last year. Maybe Alan Lazard is the receiver two for the Jets, and he's spiking in some weeks. And then I think really just betting that Jack Betch is actually one of the rookies that break out, and then maybe the Panthers are a better offense. you know, Sometimes you gotta have fun. Sometimes you need to push your comfort zones to see how these teams are. So I want to say the team is dead, but obviously, um, this is a team that I would mark down in like when you can make a no. Put this as one of them. 2 4 10 2 Nick Box Stream, so we can look back on this. See how it finishes. Yo, what's up, Put Daddy? And then D Lu Tomsky. I'm gonna call you Tomsky. Tomsky says the sauces team. Let's check it out.
All right, there we go.
All right, so Tomsky did a little 3-6-7-2 build. Knicks, Goff, Richardson. Fine with that. I think the quarterback room is strong, and then obviously you have that upside with A Rich if he does start.
Nah, he wants the sauce though.
Oh, is sauce like roast?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
oh, it's okay. I haven't heard that. So he wants to roast. Oh, all right, yeah, yeah. I mean, you have only two quarterbacks in this room with Knicks and Golf. Okay, which is fine, right? Um,
Oh,
Man, I don't know what we're doing here though. I mean, you got Pacheco, you're reaching on. I mean, this guy is probably the RB3. You took the second RB for the Giants and the dog shit offense. Javante Williams, I don't know, man. Like this is a theme of just taking the RB2s on teams.
yeah. Yeah, and I
Right?
mean Pacheco, seventh round pick. He's getting replaced with another seventh round pick this year. Broke his leg, sucked after it, not coming back. He's slow already. How slow is he gonna be now? Cam Scatterbo, he plays fullback. Javante Williams hasn't been good in 3 years since he tore his knee. Austin Eckler, old. He's one concussion away from retiring. DJ Giddens will never see the field. We got the only RB that matters in Indy. The second most important RB is actually in your QB slot. So
Yeah, man. I was gonna say Gibbs, probably the RB2 for the Lions as well, but you spent a 6 overall pick on him. And like we're reaching on Garrett Wilson the second round. He has no quarterback. Um, I can't sauce JMO. JMO's a good pick. So I'll give you that.
yeah, great pick.
Great pick. Yeah, great pick, JMO. The most unsexiest receiver ever, Corner Sutton. You take his ex teammate Jerry Judy, who doesn't have no one to throw in the ball after week 4. And then you're double tapping Pearson Mitchell. Don't you know that one of these needs to not work out for the other to work out? But and then
Yeah.
Kincaid, Pat Fairmouth. So overall, though, for being serious, like I don't mind the team. I think the team is fine. I do like you got good value of Pat Fairmouth. We were looking at him near pick 200 is pretty good. I think that's because the John trade, probably right. Like has to be.
Yeah, I guess he's fallen for that. I mean, I like the team overall. The receivers are really
Yeah.
solid. Running back, you kind of went with the hero build, but I actually do like Pacheco as an RB2 that late.
I do
And
too.
then you
Yeah.
kind of got a little volume. So I think it feels like a pretty solid build overall.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't know how I feel about taking both the Colts like vertical threats. Like I do think if Alec Pierce hits, it's probably Mitchell doesn't. And I feel like if Mitchell hits, then Pierce doesn't.
I guess maybe the idea with that is like he spent early capital at receiver. So if you just assume one of them will be like a really good hit, then maybe you're just kind of locking up that deep threat is like basically you're taking two spots as like your wide receiver six kind of.
Okay, and
But
then he's stacked with A Rich too, so at least you have that going.
mhm. Yeah, or like he said ping pong. So I guess that does kind of make sense. Like I get what you're saying though, like you're kind of betting on a similar player in the same offense. But
Yeah.
maybe with just how low they cost, especially Mitchell, it works with a stronger wide receiver room like that.
Yeah, for sure. Like you're not paying a premium. Like you could roast me because I take Golden and then I'll take Wicks on the same team. So maybe you could be like, oh well, like maybe Wicks is gonna hit because Golden's a bust or something. But
Mhm.
actually, so I don't hate that.
Yeah, that's not bad.
No, I like the BBM too though. It was a fun one. Um,
Yeah, I think we built a pretty solid team, like well balanced and stuff.
I think I'm gonna do one more. You are welcome to do one more if you have time. If not, I understand.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean
If
I
you,
got time.
yeah,
Give me like 1 second. You can start it if you want. I'm just gonna refill my water and stuff quick, but I'll be
yeah,
back in like
yeah.
1 minute.
No, go ahead, take your time, man.
Cool.
All right, chat. If anyone's watching, appreciate if you guys drop a like. If you're not subscribe. Gonna be doing drafts all summer. Have a lot of fun stuff planned out. And if you guys want to draft, drop down below what you guys would like to draft. Oh wait. Yo, what the fuck's going on, Zero? How we doing, baby? AD Mitchell can be prime Gabe Davis. It will take that in the 18th round. 2 for 122. Yeah, and maybe AD Mitchell just spikes like week 16. He goes to 122, makes you a match. All right, I should have prefaced no super flex. I will not be doing no super flex today. Maybe if I get like an expert like Hugh Maison or someone else, but today there will be no super flexes. JJ says either a limb or BBM. BB or okay, so it looks like a Fantasy Dog says crap. Let's do Eliminator. Let's see what was cooking here. I'm gonna join on my phone and then I will let you guys know what we need. All right, so let's go. We're gonna check the 22nd right now. +3 if you want to join for a 20-second eliminator. One more to start.
Oh, zero got in. He's gonna be spamming for eliminator.
We got in, baby. If you didn't get in, I am sorry. There will be plenty of more drafts to do in the future. Okay, let's go. I love having an early pick. Let's go. So we have the 1.2. This is a 20-second eliminator if you didn't hear. And we got some people in, man. We got Puka again. I don't know. Is Puka in the chat or he's just if you're watching Puka, drop a comment down below. We got Tomsky, we got Zero, War Dog, I've seen him. Let's go. It's gonna be a fun one.
Oh, JJ in the chat. It's Puka.
Oh, JJ. Oh, okay. I like that, man. What's up, Puka? All right, so we're 1.2, man. So I think like Chase or I'm not fading Barkley. I think Barkley's a good pick, but like, am I crazy for wanting Bijan or Gibbs over Barkley?
No, I don't think that's crazy. I mean, I'm fading Barkley a little. Like, I think in a limb, I like Barkley more just because like older RB he'll start out like good, but I'm cool with Bijan over him.
It's a good point. I don't want to totally fade Barkley. I love him. I am kind of on the mindset also where like I want to hit the RB that's gonna be the RB1 overall. And we've seen before where RBs like Barkley, they tend to trend down a little bit. Like it doesn't mean Barkley can't have a great year. It doesn't mean Barkley can't finish as RB1. It just means that he's not gonna do the same as he did last year.
Well, and like there's stats too that when an RB gets as much work as Barkley did, they average decline like 20% in production the following year.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good comment, W0. But that's what I'm saying. Where like we see the stats back it up and Barkley, if you include the playoffs, he had like 470 touches,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
is
insane amount.
insane amount. So I mean, I think Barkley's a fine pick there. I'm just kind of like getting, I guess, a little cuter where I think Bijan is still in his prime. And if this was Bijan's best year ever, I think it would Bijan's best year ever, if it happens, is probably gonna be this year or next year. I'm thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me too. And I think like Barkley, like we've kind of seen his best. He has dealt with injuries. Obviously, he plays in the best like offensive system for a running back,
Yeah.
probably in the whole NFL. But that workload for a guy who's had injuries, it it just like that stat of them dropping like 20%, that's like 350 touches. He beat
Exactly.
that by like over 100 touches. So I'm like definitely like fading him somewhat. Not full fade. It's too scary, but I'm gonna fade him to some extent.
Yeah, same here. And it doesn't feel great. Like I'm telling you that because week 1, Barkley's gonna put up like 40 points. And
Mhm.
it's gonna be like, well, duh, like, come on. But we'll see. We'll see for now.
But Bijan, I mean, he could easily put up a game just like that too. That wouldn't be that surprising either.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's why we take Bijan because Bijan has upside to run for like 1,700 rushing yards, 15 touchdowns, but also he's a pass catcher. Like he'll probably catch 60 plus passes, like 30 plus more than Barkley.
Right.
Zero says, I think the wear and tear might be slightly less nowadays because the linebackers weigh as much as safeties and the safeties weigh less than Bucky Irvin. That is a good point too, where I have seen stuff where like obviously like Barkley getting 480 touches in like the 90s and early 2000s is different wear and tear than it is now, right? More DBs, everyone's slower, or not slower. I mean, everyone weighs less. They're not hitting us hard. So I could see the logic there.
Yeah, it's not a bad take. Um,
Man, this
what
is
do
an
you
interesting
think here?
spot.
T or Trey?
Do you go Rice or T? Like, who do you truly have over the other?
I mean, like in a vacuum, I'd take Rice, but
Yeah,
I mean,
let's
I'm
just
fine with Rice.
let's go Rice, and then we'll figure it out because I'm open to whatever falls. Like Trey, I'm cool with taking the quarterback. Kyron, I'm okay with. Chase Brown too. Like, how do you feel about Chase Brown? Do you think he could smash again like last year?
Um, I'm a little out just because his efficiency wasn't great. And he got like 90% workload. He probably won't hit that again.
Yeah,
So what are
I'm,
you? I'm cool with Chase Brown though, also. So what are you leaning?
we'll play this a little differently. I think let's go Trey McBride. I don't have much elite tight ends. I do think that taking an elite tight end could help, right? Like if Trey McBride this year finds the end zone and scores like 8 times on top of what he's able to do in the in like putting up like 115 receptions, maybe like he'll smash. So I'm okay with Trey here.
Yeah, and I don't really think anyone can hit his target share other than Bowers. Like
Yeah.
even Kittle, like Kittle's maybe a little bit more explosive, but from a targets perspective, him and Trey McBride and Bowers are kind of in a league of their own.
Yeah, and it should be a similar offense. Like I like Marvin Harrison, but like they might just have him play the same role as he did last year.
Well, and even if he improves, it's really still just those two. And Harrison did get a decent amount of targets last year. He just didn't do a ton with them, but he got like 120 targets about, I think. So, it's not like Michael Wilson's gonna all of a sudden take a way bigger target share away. If anything, it
Exactly.
might
Yeah.
just get less. It might just get pulled from him and go to Marvin Harrison.
No, that's a good point. And like I still like stacking, so we could take Kyle Murray, if he falls here, like, or I think this is where he goes, like around pick 95.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, I mean, I love Kyler Murray in any format, but in Eliminator, like getting that rushing upside at QB, that always feels great.
It's so crucial, and that's one reason why too I like waiting on quarterback because like they're the elites for a reason. But Kyle
Mhm.
Murray at pick 92, like he could put up a similar season to Jaden Daniels when it comes to fantasy. Like Kyle Murray, man, like he might be one of like the best values on the board because this dude could run for like last year, he ran for 572 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns. They're talking about him running more this year. So what if, he does run for maybe like 700 rushing yards, he finds the end zone, and then on top of that, he's able to put up near 4,000 passing yards. Like,
Right, and he's an explosive runner too. He's not like he can break off big runs. So him like getting a little bit better variance on that and rushing for maybe that 7 to 800 clip at rushing yards. That doesn't seem too far out of the realm of possibility at all.
no, not
I
at all,
think
man.
he's a great value.
Yeah, yeah, me too, man. Let's see, zero. He says Barkley was getting touch after 2 years on average. I think soft fading Barkley is a fair stance in BBM, but Eliminator feels cute. Yeah, and I can see that too, man, because it's you're playing week one. Barkley's probably gonna be the 1.1 and like BR drafts and all that. So,
Mhm.
but also Bijan, I love Bijan. Like I think Bijan is such a good pick.
Yeah, I don't feel like you're losing much with Bijan. I mean,
Man,
we could just. Oh,
yeah,
JMO's cool.
yeah, I'll say JMO, like he's kind of a variance, but like I'm okay with taking that because I think he could take a leap this year. So I
Yeah.
think his floor is actually higher than people say.
Yeah,
Would
I mean, I can agree with that. I don't think he's like too boomer bust. Like, I think it's more like his floor is a little lower than maybe a Sutton, but his ceiling is so much higher.
so much higher. Yeah. Here, man,
I lean running back like Kamara or Walker, one of the two. But I'm okay with a receiver also if you wanted.
I think Kamara is a fine pick here, right? Like he's gonna like this is the week one play, right? Like Kamara is gonna get all the touches. He might not last all season, like maybe by week 10, he's dead. But I'm fine with that because if Kamara could help us get to week 10, we're printing some money and it's a 1v1. So even without Kamara, maybe our two in if we get is actually Bucky Irving. So I think taking like the floor plays with Kamara is more than fine.
Yeah, and I think too, like, I don't know, they still didn't really bring in much competition. Like they got Devin Neal, but he's what, like a fifth, sixth round pick. So Kamara is still gonna be the workhorse in that offense.
Yeah.
And even last year he lasted till pretty late in the season.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's gonna get all the touches. Like there's just he's gonna, you know, if he's healthy, he's gonna average like 20, 25 touches a game.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I think we're kind of doing similar to what we did last time. We got like, kind of more of a balanced build. Oh yeah, opens up Kyler.
He said
Eliminator's
so
pick.
he's on the Lunas pick. Stop fading weekly winners. Alvin Cameron. Crazy kiddo fell. That's the one thing too, man, is like, if you play the 2v2 game, let's see.
Mhm.
Would you rather have Kittle? Where does Kittle go? Like Kittle goes here as a zero. Would you rather have Kittle and I
Chase
don't know,
Brown.
Chase Brown or Trey and Alvin Kamara?
I'd probably lean Trey and Alvin Kamara, but I'm kind of a
Right.
Chase Brown hater.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I would lean on the Brown side a little more. Um, I don't
That
think it's
makes sense.
I don't think it's crazy. Like I do love Kittle. Like Kittle was a tight end one last year. He just, projects to be the number one clear option in that offense, easy schedule. Right, fifth round. Like Kittle's a weird one. Like I think if people are on Bowers and are on like McBride, but they're not on Kittle, I'm like, bro, like there's no logic in that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do think maybe one, like, small argument like, I'm in on all 3 in, like, any format. I do think maybe one small argument in Eliminator is Kittle can be a little bit more, like, spiky up and down, where
Hmm.
McBride and Bowers are gonna be a little bit more consistent, but that's really the only argument I can give for, like, those 2 guys over Kittle. Um,
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, I do think the 2v2 game, it tends to favor Kittle overall.
For sure, for sure. But maybe Kittle gets hurt and he's, more boomer bust than we've seen.
Well,
Um, yeah.
and like you said, you're doing 150 of these. You don't want no exposure to McBride.
No, I want, yeah, like I for sure want my McBride and Bowers. So we're on the clock. Uh,
Any of those top 3 receivers, I'm okay with.
I think Addison's a good pick, but he might get suspended. That's the only
Yeah,
thing where that
prob-
hurts.
probably Debo or Rome. Okay, Debo. Debo's cool.
Screw it. I don't take much Debo at all. I'm not a huge fan, but I might as well mix some because maybe he's, motivated, come back, you know, kind of like show the world like, hey, like I still got it.
Yeah. And then, do we want another receiver here, or do we want to grab like Swift?
I say with this,
Swift does have the same buy as Bijan.
let's push running back. Who's your favorite receiver?
I'd probably lean maybe Godwin, but
Yeah,
Addison's fine too. The suspension has me really worried to take him right now in Eliminator.
for
I think
sure,
he's gonna
man.
fall a lot if the suspension actually comes through, and that's in like 2 weeks is his hearing.
If Addison is suspended week 1 to week 3, he's gonna fall. Like he's probably gonna drop to the 80s.
Oh yeah, definitely. I
Right.
think definitely.
And Godwin, yeah, Godwin's not. I mean, look, maybe he starts on pub, maybe he's not fully healthy. I'm on the side where I think he will be healthy week 1 starting.
Hmm.
Right.
And
I just
I think like Addison, there's very low odds that he gets out of a suspension at all. Like maybe he only gets 2 games. Where like Godwin could be on the field week 1 ready to go.
yeah, and like Godwin, like yeah, they drafted Mecca, but like I think Godwin plays off of Debo and Jamo nicely, where we still expect Godwin to get a good target share, have a good floor, while Debo and Jamo are a little more boomer bust.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just like we have like Rice and Godwin's kind of consistent target earners, and then we have our like real boom pieces with JMO and Debo. And like
Hmm.
Debo will probably be kind of boomer bust, like more than JMO even. But JMO could even be more consistent. He wasn't that inconsistent last year, actually. He got a good target share.
Yeah, I think
Um,
yeah, I think Chris the Candyman actually brought up a stat where like Jamo was like a top 24 receiver, like actually more than I realized. So he was kind of
mhm,
consistent last year.
mhm.
Zero says Kittle plus 2 tight end late is dope still. Yeah, I'm cool with that too. I think you could definitely play that because the tight end value is actually pretty nice. Trey and camera. Trey and Alvin camera.
Yeah,
Adam says Kittle's red zone usage was also much higher than normal with CMC out. I mean, that
good
is an
point.
interesting point, right? Where like if CMC is fully healthy, how much does he take away from Kittle in the passing game? GM, what's up, Bendos? How we doing, man?
Up Bengals. But yeah, that's luckily Debo is gone. How many red zone looks was Debo getting last year? That dude
I don't
sucked.
know.
He was
He was so
irrelevant.
dude, Debo
Yeah.
was so bad last year. And he was going like at the 1-2 turn, right? Like because of the
Yeah.
Brandon Ayuk maybe traded, bro. Like they were pairing him. Who was the week 17 game? Was it the Lions?
Lions, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
so it was like,
It's like
oh,
Gibbs and
like people would
Foles.
pull up Debo or Ayuk for like a Monra, or they'd pair him with
Yeah.
Gibbs, yeah. So I think Kyler here, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I don't think this
Yeah,
guy
like
would take. I was gonna say Ayuk we could do, but no, this is too.
yeah. I mean, we could grab Ayuk first if you want.
Let's do Kyle. Let's do Kyle, man. He has 5 receivers too, so he might not even take Ayuk. I just don't like
Yeah.
pushing it sometimes. Like the smart thing is to push it, but who the hell knows, man? Maybe he just loves Kyle and he's just like, let me just take him.
Yeah. He's building it like a BBM. Did you see that? He has week 17 all built out.
Really? I
Yes.
didn't even notice that.
Or okay, I guess he just has the Cincinnati double. I guess okay,
Okay.
maybe not, but Cincinnati double, I really don't like that play in Eliminator. Just one
It's
bad week, you're just cooked. It's over.
it's for sure risky. So you know what? I think Ayuk's actually a decent click here.
Yeah, I like Ayuk here. That feels
Yeah.
pretty good. As our wide receiver 5.
Receiver 5, maybe he's healthy, 10 picks, like it's already baked in with the fall. If maybe he doesn't, if he's not ready week 1, like pick 100 for Ayuk is okay.
Mhm.
Plus
Yeah.
Mason, like if Mason was there, I think I would have liked Mason at that spot.
Yeah, I would have been pretty open to Mason too, but I think with him going, those other running backs available, like Ayuk was a pretty easy pick over him.
Mm.
So that feels pretty good getting him there. In wide receiver 5, even if he's not healthy right away, we feel okay. Getting a fall on him, like you said too.
Yeah, and like we have an elite tight end. Our quarterback room is gonna be strong. Bijan Kamara, so it's like our receiver room could be a little volatile, and we'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think it's yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. We're strong at like most positions, so it feels pretty good. We probably want to look at running back pretty soon so we don't get too far behind. But I think like those starting 2 feel perfectly fine. Like
For
we
sure.
don't need running back, like we don't need to hammer it or anything like that.
Yeah, there's a few guys that I like that maybe will fall to us.
Mhm.
We have the option to with McBride stopping at 2 tight ends if we want. Quarterback, I'm always open to going 3, but with Murray, we can stop at 2, depending on who's our second.
Oh yeah, I think with quarterback just kind of depends how it falls, but we can definitely be open to either of the 2 with like or like 2 or 3 depending, yeah, who the second is and if we can get a decent value on one of those like guys around 150 range or whatever.
Hmm.
Um okay, we're still a little bit away. But yeah, I think it's going pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, I like the start, man. I think we're balanced. I think we could take following ADP if we choose. Like, we're not locked into a position yet. Like RB, like you said, like yeah, we do want to take some RB soon, but I feel like we'll get a good chance of doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you already read that. Golden at 91 is a gift. LOL. Nick Bocklage. How are you on Golden? Are you a Golden guy? Yo, Hartman, are
Yeah.
you are you a Golden guy?
Oh, you're asking me. I thought you were asking
Yeah.
Zero.
No, I know
Am I
he
oh
roster needs the Golden any chance he gets.
uh I'm okay with Golden. I'm probably a little bit more of a Jaden Reed guy. But I'm mixing in Golden too. I lean a little bit more towards Reed though. I think his advanced metrics, if he can get a little bit better snap share,
Yeah.
they just look so good. But him getting a better snap share is pretty questionable. So I'm open to both, but I probably lean Reed slightly.
For sure. I've been a Golden over Reed guy, but I've actually converted recently. Dang, man. Okay, so I think 200 Javante for us here.
I mean, do we well,
What do you
I
think?
mean, we could probably take the upside swing with Tootin maybe because
Yeah,
we have Kamara like as kind of our old dusty guy who's going to get touches. I mean,
I just
it is
man,
tough. We could grab both. We could grab like Herbert, Love. I don't really like any of the receivers here. Um, so
yeah, tight end. I mean, tight end. I think we could wait a little bit.
I think we push tight end. We
I
either go
think
Javante or QB.
I think we go Javante, man. I think we just go Javante.
All right.
Bet that he's gonna be the starter for the Cowboys. Different bye weeks, and as
Yeah.
a like I'll say this, like Cowboys, if they don't add RB, I'm gonna take Javante. Like I'll feel more comfortable taking Javante and Jaden Blue, just because like even though he sucks, like he is the best pass protector. He's gonna catch passes. Like he's the definition of a PPR merchant, right? Like you
Oh yeah,
know,
and he's like the only real like big body back too. So, maybe on the goal line he gets some work, falls in the end zone a couple times. I don't really hate Javante where he goes. It's so hard to have confidence in him as a player, but he's in a great
yeah.
situation, right? It's just like Rico. Rico Dowdle was the same thing last year.
And one thing is, I want to take RBs that are on good offenses that we don't have a clear answer to. Last year, the Bengals and the Cowboys were two good ones, right? It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, like you know what? It was probably better if you like. Let's say you had 8% Zach Moss. Well, the 8% of Chase Brown you had was a lot that mattered more than having 0% fade on either.
Right, right. Yeah, you'd be better off taking the bad one and the good one than just
Hmm.
completely fading the situation because you're unsure. Because that
Exactly.
8% Moss doesn't kill those teams, but that 8% Chase Brown like supercharges those teams.
Yeah, your hits matter way more than your misses. So that's where it's
Mhm.
like, you know what, with Jacksonville, I'll sprinkle in all three of the guys. Cowboys, I'll sprinkle in Javante, Jaden Blue, and then I have taken some Miles Sanders round 18. You know,
Yeah,
hey, you go,
I
hey,
I've started
who
sprinkling
knows
them in a little, but they say he has juice at camp. They say he has juice.
who Miles Sanders?
Yeah, yeah. They said he looked pretty fast in the drills and shit.
I
So
mean, it makes sense. Like week 18, he did go off, right? I think he had like a crazy week 18 game. And
Mhm.
like, like what's the difference of talent between him and Javante? Probably not
Oh
much.
yeah, yeah. Not much. I
Yeah.
mean, Javante, like, Javante was probably in arguably the best situation in the league last year, and
Hmm.
he was okay as far as fantasy, but like real life, he was terrible. I
Yeah.
don't even think he put up 1,000 rushing yards in
No, he
like one of the
did.
best offensive systems. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, he was terrible, man. He was dog shit. He was like every week it was like this is the week Javante is gonna break out. This was a week. Never
Yeah.
happened.
The Saints game. Remember he tore up the Saints that one week when they had like
Oh yeah.
nobody. They had like Rattler and Bub Means and shit. He
Yeah, I
like
remember
torched
that.
them. But that was late. That was late in the season. It was like
And
a Thursday night game.
everybody was like, yeah, Javante's back. Like this is the Javante that we've been waiting for. Never
They
happened.
didn't do shit the rest of the year.
So we're up couple interesting things we could do, man. I say we push tight end, quarterback. We're looking at like young Gino if you want.
I think we grab a quarterback here.
Yeah.
Unless you really want like Tank. And then we could like wait to see which quarterback we get back.
Well,
But I'm cool with younger Gino.
I think
Go ahead.
look, we I like Gino more than Bryce, but Gino has a week 8 bye with Kyle Murray.
Oh,
So
right.
and then also Stafford too. So let's just take Bryce. We're locked in with the different bye weeks. We could backstack later if we want to as well.
Mhm. Do you like I'd probably be if we go running back, I'm cool with like Tank or Trey Benson or
Okay.
Garendo's
Oh,
fine too.
you know what? Let's do the Arizona thing where we're
Yeah.
kind of just betting on that offense. James Conner is gonna be the workhorse, but dude, like he is so close to being just done in the NFL, I think. Like I think Connor is probably one of the most injury prone players in the NFL. Benson looked kind of decent last year too.
Yeah, yeah, and his like workout metrics, athleticism, they all looked really good. He was a decently high pick. He just didn't
Mhm.
get much opportunity. But maybe if he works in a little more, and like you said, Connor's like older. He gets hurt basically every single year. So I think Benson's a fine contingent play, and we already bet on Arizona so heavy. It feels good to, tack him on. Like kind of as a tiebreaker over these other contingent guys.
Yeah, and we could stop at RB for a little bit. I do like this room. Bijan Kamara, and then we have Javante, who's gonna kind of be our floor, and then Tuin and Benson as the upside guys. We'll target probably. I think this will probably be. We'll stop at 2 tight ends for sure. Stop at 2 tight ends.
Yeah.
We could add a third.
Probably 2 QBs.
Yeah, probably 2 QBs, maybe a third, but definitely would like to add maybe at least 2 receivers, if not 3, on this build.
Yeah, I think so too. I think probably 8 receivers. And then so what would that be? That'd be so we could do 2 tight ends, 8 receivers, and then we could either do 6 running backs, 2 QBs, or we could do 3 QBs, 5 running backs. I think that'd be the way to go.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. Yeah. Like I said, like I'm okay with stopping here, but if we get a good value or RB we like, we could take him.
Right. That sounds good to me too. And then QB's a little wiped. If Stafford makes it back, even if he has the same buy as Murray,
He just
he goes right there.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we'll look at that last round maybe.
Yeah, we'll find someone. Yo, what's good, James? Yes, I stream, man. I stream on YouTube, on X, sometimes Twitch. What's up, man? Welcome. Glad to have you subscribe. Gonna be doing a lot of drafts this summer, and gonna be bringing the best guest on for you guys as well, like Hartman.
There we go.
All right, so this is interesting. So,
yeah, I mean,
man,
receivers kind of wiped.
It's wiped. Tight end. We could stop at 2 tight ends here. Who's your favorite?
Yeah, I'd probably lean Henry. I'm cool with any of the top 3 though. Like Henry, Ertz, Gesicki.
Let's do Henry, man. Let's do Henry. We're done at tight end. Don't even worry about it. Quarterback, I mean,
AR is interesting for upside, but I really think I like Braylon and Roshan. I mean, we should probably go receiver structurally. I just really don't like these guys.
I don't either, man. But it's like maybe we just take Douglas.
Douglas.
I don't mind Douglas. I think a couple things with Douglas. One is I don't think Kyle Williams is guaranteed to be better than Douglas. 2 is the whole Stephon Diggs news, like, like maybe he gets cut. I don't think he would. Diggs won't get cut, but like there is some bad jujus with Diggs right now. And Douglas, like he did have a rapport with Drake May. He could spike in your lineup, and I think he's just a really good receiver. I think he's a good receiver, and that Kyle Williams is going at pick 115 while Douglas is 180 actually. I think the gap should be a little closer.
Oh yeah, I think so too. Because like I think we all like Kyle Williams, but I mean, 3rd round pick. Jalen Polk was a second round pick,
early second round
anything.
Pick.
Yeah, very early second round. Yeah, and like Douglas was the main target getter on the team last year. He has a good rapport with Drake May, like you said. So I think just as kind of a floor piece, especially since we have like Ayuk and Godwin, getting maybe kind of a floor guy who maybe has a little less upside. Like he could be pretty good on this build to kind of help our guys get out of the early season.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And, he has later by week. He does kind of fit nicely with our boom buzz receiver room. So it's just, I just, man, QJ, Jalen McMillions, like, it's bad.
Yeah, they're tough picks.
It's tough, man. So, yeah.
The only other one I was like kind of thinking was Michael Wilson if we wanted to go even more Cardinals, but I really don't like him that much. It's just, with Kyler or whatever.
Yeah, I don't love it too, man. Plus, it's kind of like overstacking the Cardinals. Hey, what's up, Uncle? Welcome in. Did y'all coordinate the same shirt? Nah, it's just 2 ball knowers knowing what to wear.
Yeah, it's a mind melt.
It's a mind melt, man. Hartman is a great guest. Emily was right. That was Zero bringing in Emily into this. Can't wait to watch streaming NCAA this year. For sure. This year, I think I'm gonna be doing like some streaming, like Madden NCAA during the football season. Just throwing it out there. Yeah, man. Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. Need to do a try collab. Heck yeah, man. Got to get best ball on call on one of my streams one of these days.
Oh yeah. He's like the busiest man in streaming though.
He is,
Yeah.
yeah. He works a lot, man, but he does what he
Yeah.
can. Adam throwing shade with Poop Douglas.
Fair.
James says Kyle isn't guaranteed to be better than Butte Little Douglas. Hey, that's a fair point, man. I mean, isn't Kyle Williams the most expensive third round receiver we've had in underdog history?
The most expensive third round receiver.
Yeah, like could you remember a third round receiver being as expensive as he is?
I mean, not really. I guess now that you say it, there. Yeah, because last year was all like second round guys, right?
All second, yeah. Like when was there a time that we had a third rounder close to like 115? I don't that's why I'm
Yeah.
kind of worried about it, where I just feel like people are hyping him up because like I like Kyle Williams. Like Kyle Williams, I think is a good prospect. I think he fits great with Drake May, but he's still a third round receiver who third round receivers project like they don't hit most of the time. Okay. I think
Yeah.
Keenan Allen's a good fall here. We just kind of bet that he signs with a team.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that pick there.
Good floor.
Yeah.
And then we have two more picks. So we want to do quarterback. I think I'm more like I don't want to do show again. I think I'd rather do like Daniel Jones or Dart. Um RB receiver. Who
Um,
I see receiver, man, like Diami Brown's interesting.
yeah, I mean, if we want even more of that like floor play, we could go with like a Lockett. He'll probably have a decent role. But I mean, if I like Wicks. I mean, we can keep on hammering Wicks.
Do we do Coker for the Bryce Young stack? Just kind of like getting
Oh
one.
yeah, actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's get a skinny stack on Bryce Young. He has
I like
upside
that.
too. He might have a good role. Yeah, that's a good call.
I like that. Yeah, Coker. Like I think Coker is actually a solid receiver, and kind of the same thing where it's like Leggett. He's probably going to get the chance before Coker, but I think Coker's a better receiver than Leggett.
Yeah, I
Potentially,
think so too.
yeah.
Like, especially when you look at how last year ended, he was out producing Leggett when they were both on the field. So I think he has a decent chance to just overtake him, even though he doesn't have the draft capital like Leggett did. He outproduced him like just straight up head to head last year.
Yeah, he did. He did, man. I know Leggett was looking good, but like everyone looks good in shorts. So, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
we'll see how he does once the pads are on.
Well, especially a big athletic guy like Leggett, he's probably always going to be a summer hero. As
Yeah,
long as he's in
yeah,
the NFL. Yeah.
for sure, for sure. Dude, chat's popping up a little right here. Let me catch up. Wait, hold up. Three-way. So I call it. Yes, sir. Addison says hi, cousin. Hello, Addison. How are you? You are bringing it. Yes. Adam says it's the army of the box. The box, we run deep. You might not know it, but the box are always around. How about Wicks last year? Wicks steamed up to 105 ADP as receiver 4. Yeah, but like Wicks wasn't a rookie last year, and he actually showed flashes of doing something. So that's why he was steamed up. I'm
Yeah.
talking about just as a plain rookie from college of a third round pick. Like Kyle Williams is the most expensive pick, and that's where too is like people are sharper because I think previously Kyle Williams would go in like the one probably 50s and 60s. Now he's pushed up. Like
Mhm.
if we get like one or two good reports of Kyle Williams, dude's gonna push up to pick 100.
Oh yeah, I mean if he's looking like Diggs is slow in his recovery and then Kyle Williams looking good in camp, like he's gonna steam way up.
Way up. And
Mm.
and Adam says, but he was Chris Sims receiver too. Don't get me started on on Chris Sims and his receiver takes, man.
Yeah, go look at the past years.
Yeah. James says Kyle's ADP is based purely on speculation right now, so just take pop in the 180s for sure. I feel like that's a sharp thing, man. I feel like even if Kyle Williams hits, there's no guarantee he's going to pay off the 115 price either. Like, because you're taking him over, like Rashad Bateman, for example. Like, I'd rather take Bateman than
Yeah,
Kyle Williams.
I think it's just with Williams too. It's like we I think a lot of the community really loves Drake May. So we want people to stack with him. So I think that's also artificially pulling him up close to Drake May. And then like their receiver room seems so weak. So it's easy
Yeah.
to pull him up. Uh
So we're on the clock. So do you have a
I mean
preference here?
not Dart because he won't start early, probably, right? And we don't really have a
Yeah.
giant.
I,
Um
I think we just go Jones. Let's go three QBs. We
yeah.
rushing upside. Also Bryce, like, I feel like we waited for a second to take Jones. RB room 5, I'm okay with it, man. We're betting Bijan legendary season. Kamara's gonna, be the workhorse, till like half the season. And then two in, Javante Benson. I think I like this as my 5.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that feels pretty good. Like, we could have looked at a 6, but I don't think we really need to. I think the upside at QB is more worthwhile than taking a 6th running back there.
For sure, because I think with quarterbacks too, like it's just they're gonna have down weeks. It's a 1v1. Down Jones, I just really want to have three quarterbacks in this format. Like I really do. I think it's I don't know. I'm still learning how I want to play it, but I think having three quarterbacks is because in the BBM or a sense like three quarterbacks are better advance rates, right? In general.
Right. Right.
So I'm like, if that's the case for like BBM, like I feel like with Eliminator, you probably want to kind of focus a little more on that.
Well, and I think we view Kyler very highly, but we picked him around pick 100. It's not like we spent crazy capital on Kyler Murray.
And
So,
yeah, that's a good point.
yeah, so I don't think it's too bad to add on two more. Like, I think maybe with a full elite, like a third round pick, it's a little more questionable. But with that capital on Kyler Murray, it doesn't feel bad at all to use a little more capital to get a third QB. Because we
Yeah,
didn't spend that much at QB and we feel pretty good with that room.
yeah, and that's a great point because Kyle Murray has great upside, but we have the luxury of taking him pick at 95 compared to a Jaden Daniels. When you take Jaden Daniels, you're giving up a pretty good position at the RB or receiver room, while we take, obviously that receiver RB, and then we were able to afford Daniel Jones in the last round.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think the team came out pretty good. I think we're a little bit risky at receiver just with some of those like injured guys, but
For
if
sure.
either Godwin or Ayuk are healthy early, I think we can like smash at receiver. And then I think running back feels solid, quarterback feels solid, and then we got McBride at tight end. So I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we're looking really solid overall. We just need like Godwin, especially if Godwin's healthy week 1, we're looking like great, I think.
Yeah. I still want to lean into kind of being volatile at certain positions because I think obviously you want to hit that floor upside case. Our receiver room is risky business, but if Godwin's healthy week 1 and then Brandon Ayuk is actually ahead, our receiver room is really nice. And then I feel really comfortable at all the other positions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think
yeah.
the build came together pretty good.
Yeah. I don't mind it. We had a couple people in here gonna review a couple teams and then we'll be hopping off. But further ado, Puka, who goes by JJ, goes a 2583 build. Baker Herbert, he kind of reaches on Baker, but I'm pretty sure it's to secure a stack. Bucky, Connor, Warren, Ramondre, and then McLaughlin. What's I Jalen
McLaughlin.
McLaughlin. There we go.
Yeah.
Um, so like his RB
Yeah.
room's a little like ours, but I think ours is a little more secured.
Well, yeah, I think just getting Bijan just makes it feel a little more secure than,
Mhm.
Bucky. Yeah.
A little thinner, but he does have that bug. So he has CD, Mike Evans, Ted Myers, Higgins, Thielen, the Bengals receiver, the receiver 4. I'm just kidding, but
Yoshi.
yeah, Yoshi, Alan Lazard. I mean, the receiver room is very strong.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I like the
yeah,
receiver room. But yeah, like you said, running back a little bit thinner, but The receivers look pretty strong overall, so feels like a decent balance between the two.
Yeah, I'm okay with the receiver room, and then tight ends, Goddard, Pat Fairmouth, and then Don Schultz. Strong tight end room, fine with it. You must, I mean, on 171 for Schultz, kind of early, doesn't really matter, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, RB room a little thin, but I think it's a solid build.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty solid team overall.
Zero fucks. So he goes Hurts, Brock Purdy, and A Rich. So he does do the kind of like how he tax the third quarterback, even though he has an elite, and then spending a little more on Purdy. So that's a little interesting.
Yeah, because I mean he picked Purdy like kind of around where we picked Kyler.
Hmm.
I think that's fine though. You know, Erich has big upside, but you don't really need him to play. So you got the upside swing. We actually took the other upside swing on the same team.
Same
So
team,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So like if A Rich is a starter all year, then you're feeling so good about your quarterback room. Like each week, like you're locked in the points there. RB, Gibbs, Jones, Swift, Scatterboo, SMA. So we see a kind of like a theme, like this is a third team, only 5 RBs, kind of pushing it, but I'm okay with it. You're locked in with Gibbs, and I think Jones and Swift are 2 RBs on good offenses that are the starters. And then you take an upside shot with Cam Scatterboo, got a decent value, and then I think SMA is a fine click in the 18th round. So the RB room is actually pretty good.
yeah.
Receivers, though, I see. So Brown, Garrett, Golden, Christian Kirk, Hollywood, Leggett, DeMarcus. I don't love the receiver room. I think it's a little weak. What do you think?
Yeah, that's pretty thin, especially like yeah, I mean, especially going Kirk as your wide receiver 4, I think you're going like very thin at receiver there. You know, even Golden, he's a good value, but he's your wide receiver 3. Like
Mhm.
that, you know, that's scary. He's a rookie on a team that likes to rotate receivers, even if you like him a lot. Like that's a pretty scary build at receiver.
Yeah, like I love AJ Brown, but he is, a boom buzz.
Mhm.
Golden as my third. Like if I'm doing that, I probably want at least 8 receivers. But he stops at Robinson. I think that's where like maybe I would have rather have a shot receiver than a rich.
Mhm.
So it's risky business. And then he goes 3 tight ends too. So he does Kittle, Warren, and then Taylor. So like tight end room's great. Like I love Kittle Warren. Like I think that's a beautiful tight end room. So I think adding Taylor though, like I think that could have been a receiver as well. So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, like what does Taylor really do for a tight end room like that? You have the tight end 1 or 2 in the class, and then you have Kittle. Like, I get he could spike, but why not throw that at receiver when you're so much thinner at that and you have a strong tight end room already?
Yeah, 100%. Like your quarterback room, tight end room are so strong. I like your RB room. I just would have liked at least one more receiver for this team.
Mhm.
So, but you know what, man? He was doing us a favor. He knew only like 6 could advance, so he's like, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna let you guys advance. I just wanted to draft, have fun, chat with you guys. So I appreciate that, Zero.
Yeah, Zero's a nice guy like that.
Yeah,
Respect.
yes. I was messing with Zero, but we have we have the Tomsky. He goes a Michael Penix and a Cam Ward build. So this is kind of thin for quarterback. Like you're putting a lot on for these two. I'm sure your other rooms are strong, but this is a little thin, huh?
Yeah, and I think the thing that's scary with those guys too is neither like Cam Ward maybe runs a little, but they both could have pretty low weekly floors being more like pocket passer types instead of rusher types.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I mean you're just betting that both are, the offense is better than projected and they just ping pong at the right time. But obviously, when you wait this long, the rest of your team is probably pretty strong. So we see Kyron, Amaro Hampton, Junkins, Harris, Spears, and Hunter. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
strong RB room for sure.
Yeah, that feels like a strong RB room. I like that quite a bit.
Yeah, like I think it's interesting because like handcuffings. I think Eliminator makes more sense than it does like a BBM because it's a 1v1.
Mhm.
So like if your guy Kyron gets hurt and then Hunter's a guy, well you the chances of you playing someone that has like Hunter aren't high. Plus they're third rounder already, right? I don't know.
Right.
So
No,
I don't know. Yeah.
I agree with that fully. Like I think handcuffing, it's maybe still not like the ideal strategy, but I think it's a lot more viable in this format because your odds of running into a hunter team are pretty low unless Kyron gets hurt like preseason and Hunter's just like the super smash all year. That's
Hmm.
pretty much the only way that it's like a bad pick, but you can't ever bet on anything like that.
No, yeah, I think handcuffing is more fine for Eliminator. Like it does make more sense, kind of like a managed league, right? Because it's like
Mhm.
if you have CMC, then maybe you want to take Garendo, because if CMC gets hurt, you're the only one that has CMC and Garendo against everybody in your league. So that makes sense
Mhm.
to secure that RB room. He has Puka, London, Ridley, Pittman, Pierce, Jalen McMillian, Calvin Austin, and Roman Wilson for his receivers.
Hmm.
So, up top
Does he
strong.
have,
Go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say like, does he have good tight ends?
Laporta
Oh,
and
Laporte.
Andrews. Yeah, because the receiver room's a little weaker than I would have thought with seeing the quarterbacks up top.
That's what I was thinking too, yeah. But I mean, it's fine. It's a decent receiver room. It's just like not really like a big strength, but I don't think it's like super weak either. But I guess the strength is at RB and tight end.
For sure,
So
yeah, yeah. I mean, Laporta and Andrews, like you feel really good about your tight ends here. I love going Puka, London. I think your receiver room is strong up top. Really, you get that stack with Cam Ward. I don't think you have a stack with Penix, but that's okay. Like you don't need a stack
well,
in a
yeah,
limit.
London.
Oh, never mind. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you do. So like that is nice. So you do have, two of your top receivers stacked. Receiver room, I think it's fine. Like you have, like Puka, London, Ridley. You feel really good about that on a weekly basis. Even Pittman, like Pittman probably projects to be a solid floor. And then you have some guys that could maybe spike, right? Pierce, McMillian, could find a way, Evans or Godwin gets hurt. And then double tapping the Steelers receiver, like maybe Rogers signs there, and then one of these guys, which is pretty good value.
Yeah, I think it's an okay team overall. I think maybe just like I would have expected a little bit better strength at receiver given the QB room,
For sure.
but I think it's definitely viable. I don't like, I think it's a decent build. It can definitely work out.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. I agree with that. But that was some fun drafts, man. We crushed 3 drafts.
Yeah.
Let me just catch up with chat real quick and see what's going on here. Oh, okay, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Tom sees that's receiver 2 and 3 on Pitt, and DK sucks.
Fair.
Yeah, fair.
I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah,
what
DK.
or
Go ahead.
like I was just gonna say what are the wide receiver 2 and 3 on Pitt really worth though? That's the only problem.
That's the only thing, yeah. Especially if like Roger or Cousins doesn't go there, I'm like, man, like it's hard to see either one of them really like spiking in a lineup. But who
Yeah.
knows? Mason Rudolph, the truth, some might say. But
Will Howard.
oh, Will Howard, yeah, yeah. Who knows? Maybe Will Howard is just gonna crush all year for the Steelers. But I think that is it. Had a ton of fun. Hartman, first of all, appreciate you coming on, doing 3 drafts. Everyone, his YouTube and his Twitter are linked into my bio in the description. Please go give him a follow, give him a sub. He's going on different shows. He's active. He's always in the chats. Like like love this dude. Dude knows ball. He's very smart. Glad he's doing a lot of content. Also, tell the people what you got going on. If anything's coming up and so on.
Uh, so I'm just trying to stream like every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, pretty much. But yeah, just kind of getting into the streaming, trying to be more consistent with it, and
Mhm.
doing a couple different shows and stuff. Thanks for having me on your show. was a fun time getting the Nick Bach experience.
Of
Uh,
of
but
course, man. Of course, man. You're welcome to come on anytime. I'm sure, same. If you ever need a guest, let me know. Try to make it work for your streams. Gonna be drafting all summer, right? So you're gonna see
yeah,
this isn't the last time you guys are gonna see Hartman on the stream. But I think that's pretty much it. We're gonna wrap it up here. Appreciate everyone kicking in the chat. Thanks for liking, subbing up. Like I said, tons of draft all summer, a lot of good times. Join the Discord as well. Got some things cooking up in there. And until next time, appreciate all you guys. Have a blessed Sunday, and I'll see you guys in the best on streets real soon. Later.